Agents, you have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. Open, Chicago with the lead. Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Under it, and to the middle with the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5, touchdown Bears!
Third time in 6 seasons, it's one goal team. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. Right. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. And I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. Listen, if you're watching us on Facebook, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not watching us on Facebook, what? Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. Just like that. All right? Just like that. But wait, there's more. All right, do us a favor, do us a solid. Go to our shows page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Shawn and Maya in the morning. We have our Facebook page, like that page as well. And now you're following both pages. See? Perfect. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, man. Listen, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, and then click the bell. That's the notification button. All right. Click that button, that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. You get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, yay, that's what I'm talking about, baby. I like that kind of party. And if you don't, come on, man, we got a mobile app. Where have you been? Look at, I'm fresh shaven, fresh dressed like $1,000,000. Man, woo-wee. Look at just for the camera, I'm all shaved nice and smooth. I love it. So go get the app. Yes, because I'm smooth, go get the app. Go get the app. Check it out. Listen, wherever you get your apps from, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Venture, Macy's, wherever you get your apps from, you go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it, you take us with you on the go. And not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but guess what? We give you a slew, and I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big ups to my man Clarence Council for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. What's up, Steve-O?
Just so you know, my wife works in the Macy's warehouse, and they just got a brand new huge shipment of the app. Just came in right on our
Beautiful. Excellent.
Sorry I ruined the open of the show. It was a lot more funny when I thought about it in my head. Now I realize that I have just wasted 15 seconds of the show. I'm so sorry. You can take it out of my paycheck.
Don't let it happen again. It's our guy Steve-O. And listen, if you watch us there, if you're watching us on our Roku channel, now that's what I'm talking about. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Guys, we have a Roku channel, baby. Sports Zone Chicago, we have a Roku channel. All right, we're now on Roku. We're there live right now. Right now. So do us a favor. Go download Sports Zone Chicago. Download the tile. Okay? Download the tile to your television. Okay? You know how to download the tile. Don't give me none of that nonsense. You download the stars because a week from today, Power Book 2, Series 3 with Tariq and Mary J and Method Man. It's coming back. It's premiering for season 3. You're going to watch that. You know you downloaded Paramount Plus because you're watching Yellowstone. You know you downloaded Hulu. Okay, you see it there because you're watching all the stuff on FX, like Snowfall. Snowfall's my shit. Love me some Snowfall. So you know you're watching it. So download Sports Zone Chicago's tile to your television. Do us a favor. If you have more than one Roku television in the house, download it to all of them. All right? Even if it's in the kids' room, whether you're probably not going to watch it, just do us that favor and download it to all of the TVs you have in the house. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Well, you know what? You can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I mean, nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper, and TikTok. I know. Don't at me. At the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, because you're an IGer and you do it just for the gram, well, then you know what? You can just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. I would be remiss if I didn't bring him back out since he interrupted my opening. Is my super producer, Steve Weekly. Steve, what's up, Papa?
Sorry. Hello, everybody. Let's have a good show.
Oh, Steve, well, that's hilarious. Hold on, I'm doing this one thing. So, sorry, buddy. I was hoping you'd be a little longer this time.
Well, just in case anybody was wondering, Chicago has the Cubs, the Sox, the Bulls, the Blackhawks, and the Bears. If you need any more information other than that, you need to consult with our host. I was going to say co-host, but more of a host. The SuperBack song, Sierra. Yay! Okay, are you done? Because that's all I got, man.
Yeah, I'm done. Steve was on one today, dude. I love it. All right. Listen, we have a phenomenal show, but we need you to get interactive with us today. Man, listen, whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's our mobile app, or whether it is you can't interact with us via Roku, but that's okay. Watch us on Roku, and you can send us a message on YouTube on your phone, just like that. Simple. All right, but leave a question or comment on that particular platform, whatever one you're watching us on. It'll come up here, and either my super producer Steve will get to it, or I'll get to it. We'll put it up. We'll put it up on the screen, and we'll incorporate it into the show. All right, we will make it nice. Because you know what? Here's what I love. That's what makes this the best morning show around. All right, the best Chicago sports talk morning show around is your participation, your questions, your comments, your smart ass remarks. Bring them. We want all the smoke. Bring them, and let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about it. Let's see who we have in the chat already this morning. We get started early. My man Armando Emeterio Lada Jr. What's up, Papa? Yeah, he checked in 2 hours before the show. That's what I'm talking about, baby. You probably couldn't sleep. Really. And if he's watching, man, he put it in the chat already. He's watching with his road dogs, Armando Emeterio Lada the fourth, and Jeremiah, his two grandsons. He's watching with him. Well, Armandito and Jeremiah, good morning, guys. Junior, good morning, Papa. Cornelius Squall's in the house. What up? Lavette Lee is in the house. What's up? Marshawn Walls with the TGI. Mickey Friday. You know how it is. And listen, let me tell you something. I can guarantee you. I can't guarantee much in life except death and taxes. But I can guarantee this. More of the usual suspects will tune in as the show goes on. That, my friends, I can guarantee you. Now, listen, when I say we got a great show, I am not bull jiving. I'm not bull jiving. Listen, at 10 o'clock, we got Jason Pat from the co-host of the Cast Considerations podcast. He does with our guy, Ricky O'Donnell. Okay, he's going to come in. We're going to talk a little Bulls with him. What the fudge crackers was that? The Bulls acting crazy on Wednesday, beating the best team in the West by 20? By 20? And then you lose to Indiana. We're going to talk to Jason about this nonsense that the Bulls are putting us through. So Jason Pat at 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we have a first-time guest. I'm excited. Eric Duerwachter. Say that 5 times really fast. Eric Duerwachter. He's a contributor to Windy City Gridiron. He's going to come out. We're going to talk Bears. We're going to talk NFL draft. We're going to talk, there have been rumors, because, there's rumors all over the place now. That rumors that 2 teams have already made offers. There's rumors that the Bears may, by the end of the weekend, have a trade in place to get to trade the number 1 pick. Man, there are, again, this is one of the funnest times to be a Bear fan. All the rumors going around, the number one pick. All right, some people saying, hey, listen, just trade with Houston. If you get 2 first-round picks, take it. Okay, then you can get Will Anderson at number 2. I say trade 1 to 2 if you can, and 2 to 4 if you can, because Indy's coming up. Carolina wants to come up. They need a quarterback. Carolina give you a big haul. But if you go to Carolina, who's at number 9, you're most likely not going to get Will Anderson or Jalen Carter at that particular point. I personally would like Jalen Carter over Will Anderson, but hey, I don't know. But we'll see. We will see. So we have, like I said, our first-time guest. Looking forward to him. Eric Wachter is going to come on, talk Bears with us. It is going to be pretty fun. I'm excited. If he's like any of the other guys from Windy City Gridiron, he's going to be good. All right, my guy Lester, EJ Snyder. How could I? I just forgot. I can't even remember the dude from Texas. Oh my God, I can't. He's one of my favorites. Oh my goodness, I'll figure it out. Robert Schmitz. That's the go. Robert. How could I forget Robert? Robert, Eric. All right, EJ. A lot of those guys from Windy City Gridiron. Burkus too, Jeff. All those guys are awesome. So if half as good as any of those guys, he's going to be a really, really good guest. He's very highly recommended by Lester. So Lester highly recommends him. I'm cool with it. Well, listen, guys. That's the show. That's the lineup, I should say. But you know how we do, folks. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
And you know what? Before we go on any further, let me say what's up. Good morning to my man, the guy who sounds like he should be from across the pond, my man, Charles Edward Bingham McDavid Sr. He's in the house. Good morning, Papa. How are you? I just love that name. It was funny. Like I said, I thought the first time you tuned in, I'm like, do we have another viewer from England across the pond? Because we got viewers all over the world. I just thought it was, dude, that's a cool ass name. Charles Edward Bingham McDavid Sr. Oh, dude. Good morning, Papa. Good morning. Well, listen. First top of the morning topic. We're going to talk a little Wednesday. We're going to talk Bulls. The Bulls, baby, on Wednesday laid the smackdown on the candy ass of the Denver Nuggets, 117-96. This was the best team in the West. Is the best team in the West with a big lead. All right, Zach LaVine, 2 days before his birthday, which is today. We'll talk about that in a second. Was surprised by his parents. They came and sat courtside for the game, and he put on a show. He led the way with 29 points. Nikola Vucevic in the battle of the Nikolas. Him against Nikola Jokic, the Joker, the two-time, the back-to-back MVP. He should probably be 3-time at the end of this season. Nikola Vucevic said, hey, I got game 2. He gave us 25 and 15. DeMar DeRozan, 17 points, 16 points. And Patrick Williams, he dropped 18 points as well. So this is the thing I'm talking about. Why the hell do they keep playing well against these good teams and just horrible against these bad teams? And this is a lack of focus. This is because there's no leadership. Who is the leader of this team? I don't know. I can't tell you. Patrick Beverley looks like he wants to take over that role, but you just got here 5 seconds ago. So I don't know how. Maybe you've read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I don't know. Maybe you did, and you're going to be that leader. Okay, but there's no leader right now. Cornelius, yes, Vooch did win that battle. He won the battle of the Nikolas on Wednesday. And I'll tell you what, we as Bull fans, we were excited. But as Bull fans, this is why it pisses us off. Like, do this every single night. Do it every night. Like, you have no room for error. There's no room for error for you guys. Like I don't understand what they don't get. Every game is a playoff. You're in the playoffs to get into the play-in. Hopefully the playoffs. But there's no sense of urgency except when you get good teams, and that's bothersome. That's very bothersome to me. It seems like Billy doesn't know what to do with that either. I don't know. It's frustrating, as I said, but hey, you got to live with it, guys. This is your team. This is your season. This is the way you want it to end, want it to go. Okay. Well, the next top of the morning topic, speaking of that, today, happy birthday to my man, Zach Levine. You know what? I screwed that up. All right, my man, hold on, Steve-O. I've screwed that up. There we go. Now we're good. Now we can. Happy birthday. Happy 28th birthday to Zach Levine. Listen, I don't know if it's just me. Does it seem like Zach's been in the league for like 15 years? Seems like it. I mean, when you come in at 19 years old, you're 28. Yeah. 9 years in the league, probably 9 to 10 years in the league. That's a long time. That's a long time. He goes from two-time dunk, a slam dunk champion, to a max player. And we're trying to get him to be a consistent player. Okay. That's the issue. A consistent player. Because you can be a max player all you want, but it doesn't make you one of the best. It just means you're in a good situation. Kent Bazemore. All right. Kent Bazemore was a max player. And you're probably like, who? And if you said who, that justifies that exactly it. Exactly it. They're throwing max contracts around like they're penny candies nowadays. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. Cornelius, yeah. So ever since Pat Bev told Zach that's your job is to shoot, he's been on fire. Well, yeah, but I still worry about him at the end of the game, at the end of games in the fourth quarter down the stretch. I still don't trust him. I'll still take DeMar. I'll still take DeMar. I'm just not. And it's going to take a while for me to trust Zach. I've just seen far too many late game turnovers, some poor shot decisions. It's just not ready to trust him. Just not ready to trust him. So, pardon me, but who cares? I don't care what you think. This is my opinion, and I believe me. I want him to be the man. I want him to do well, but I just don't think he has it up between the ears. Me personally, that's what I think. Could be wrong. Probably not. Who's KARudy.tv? What's up? Thank you for tuning in. Good evening. So you must be on another side of the world across the pond if you're saying good evening, because it's morning here in Chicago. All right. So good evening to you. KARudy.tv, wherever you are. Where you tuning from? KARudy.tv. Please let us know. Please let us know. But as we wait for you to let us know, we'll move on. The next top of the morning topic, the Cubs. The Cubs beat the Cincinnati Reds yesterday, 8-6. Dion, he got the start. He got the no decision. All right, he went 3 2/3. Not a good start by him at all. 4 hits, 4 runs, all earned. 3 punch outs. Patrick Wisdom was 1 for 3, hitting his first homer of the spring with 2 men on, driving in his first 3 RBIs of the spring. Trey Mancini, not Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Trey Mancini, he was 2 for 3 with a homer, his second dinger of the spring, driving into his 3rd and 4th RBIs of the season, of the spring training. If anyone,
I think you just gave him his official Cubs nickname now.
Trey Boom Boom Mancini, because Trey and Ray. So yeah, it could be. It could be. I wonder if there's any relation, like if it's his nephew or great nephew or I don't know. That'd be interesting to find out.
He is now.
Yep. Trey Mancini. For those of you who don't know, who are a little too young, Ray Boom Boom Mancini was a boxer back in the 80s. Like a middleweight or something, or a light, maybe even lighter than that. But yeah, he was a boxer. Also, Torrance, he was 2 for 2 with his first double of the spring, driving in his third RBI of the spring. And Christopher Morel, we've talked a lot about him. We talked about Nightingale, about him. We've talked to other people about him. He was 1 for 3 yesterday with a homer, his first of the spring, driving in his 4th run of the spring as well. I told the usual suspects to check it in. My man Luis Mejia, Rise and Grind is in the house, baby. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. My man Brandon Livingston from the left coast. It's early over there, Papa. 7:21 over there for you. Thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Told you the usual suspects, and there'll be more who will be checking in as the show goes on. The Cubs are doing well in spring training. Let me tell you, they're kind of picking up where they left off, and now they're actually advancing, and now they have more talent than they did last year. The culture that we talked about, that's there. That's been set. It's in place. And then the way you bring in those 3 World Series champions, Gold Glove, or one former MVP, just winners. You bring in 3 veteran winners. Yeah, it's going to do a lot. I think this is going to be a very, very surprising season for the Cubs. So I wish you well. Not too well, because I still want to talk shit to all my Cub fan friends. But hey, it'll make it better. I want you guys to do well after we beat you in the crosstown both times. All right, then you can. All right, because at that point, if we do that, because then it'll say, well, we're not supposed to win. Oh, we're terrible. So if you guys have a good record and we have a good record too, and then that'll be good for us to lay the smack down on you, and then we can go from there, because then I don't have to hear with your people. Luis, oh yeah, we got to go there, Papa. We got to go. You know what? I'll hit you up, Luis. There's they're having a tailgate. So I know you probably have your tickets already, but you can hop in on the tailgate as well. So I'll get you that information. And man, I party with Luis. I love it. I love it. I love it. Him and G Unit, Galia, G Unit. Opening day is going to be fun. Opening day is going to be. So here's the only issue that I have for opening day. What jersey am I going to wear? What jersey am I going to wear? Because I have 5 Sox jerseys. I have the home one. I have the black road one. I have the red one, the 70, 71, 72 jerseys. I have the winning ugly one from 83. I have the Field of Dreams one from Iowa. So I have 5 White Sox jerseys. And all of them, the White Sox, the Field of Dreams jersey, they couldn't customize, but all the rest of them are customized, Sierra 33. So if you see Sierra 33 walking around Sox Park this year, just come up and say hi. You catch me, oh, Sierra 33. You know who it is. Ain't nobody else. Ain't nobody else with Sierra 33 walking around Sox Park. All right, so make sure you say hi. Now, I won't be there that often till the White Sox show me that they're about that life this year. Because they're on some bullshit. Yeah, I'm not giving them a lot of my money. Then I'll use the credentials a lot more than actually paying. Bump that noise. I'm sorry. No way. No way, Jose. Speaking of Jose, you're gonna have to retire the Abreu jersey. Yeah, I hear you, dude. I hear you. Well, the last top of the morning topic before we go to break. Speaking of the White Sox played Colombia yesterday as Colombia warmed up for the World Baseball Classic. Colombia beat the White Sox 5-4. It was mostly prospects. None of the real players, like for real played. They're not going to waste it on Colombia. Let's see. Leonard Sosa was playing. He had an RBI double. Carlos Perez had 2 hits, including an RBI single. And then 2 minor leaguers pitched for Colombia, including Luke Schilling, who struck out 2 in the 9th and picked up a save. And then in the Sox uniform, he joined Colombia's handshake line. That was kind of weird. This is from Daryl Van Schouwen in the Sun Times today. Guys, I get my paper every single day. Every single day. Yeah. So, but listen, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. All right. On the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. And I'm excited to talk to our guy. Listen, we have a lot of guys. Pat, I'm excited to talk to him about our bullies. All right. It's going to be quite an interesting conversation. So don't go anywhere, folks. More top of the morning topics up next. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
No, I don't know, though. I'm scared. I mean, you're
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry. Not again. Stop!
%4 from the three-point line.
Nice slip.
Nice.
Into the baseline, cutting goes Sumu. Over to Gordon for 3. Beverly, good outlet for DeRozan, being chased. He'll jam it down.
That was a heads-up play by Patrick Beverly. Like to see more of that.
Same 10 that started the game, start the second half. Levine stepping through Jokic.
Nice move, sliding and gliding on the baseline.
Going against the Canada native.
Fans can't see the game.
Yep. Caruso with the pick. Hesitation and Caruso.
Oh, let me get some butter with that roll, AC.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Those were our bullies on Wednesday. Giving it to them, laying a smackdown on the Denver Nuggets. I don't get it. I don't get it. Best team in the West, and the Bulls handed it to them. There were no injuries. Everyone was playing on Denver. Okay. No one got into foul trouble. Okay. The Bulls just handled them. And that's the frustrating part. This team, when they want to, they can do it. Trex guy, what's I have no idea what that is. Let's all date a cactus. I have no idea what you're talking about. But anyway, the next top of the morning topic, man, let me take a step back for a quick second. All right. Remember, it's just I was meant to put this up for Zach Levine's birthday. I didn't get to do that, but now I did. But yesterday, sports and music are intertwined. Okay. So often, okay, athletes wish they can be a rock star, a rap star, and rock stars wish they could be athletes. Okay. And they tend to build pretty cool relationships because of the fact that they're famous. Well, yesterday was the 26th anniversary of the death of who some people may call the greatest rapper of all time. All right. Arguably he is. He's one of them. Him, Tupac, throw Nas in there, maybe Rakim if you like. Christopher Wallace. Yesterday was the 26th anniversary of his death. All right. He was shot in LA, and it was a crazy time, man. It's a crazy, crazy time. It was the East Coast versus West Coast deal. All right, they killed Tupac. Biggie was my guy, man. He was my dude. I liked Biggie. Tupac was a little more conscious, but Biggie just talked about about how he grew up, how he came from, how he's trying to get rich. The music was good, mixed, produced by Puffy. And if you see, I'm wearing my Notorious shirt. It was the cover of Ready to Die. It was already a cover of his first album. It was 26 years ago. It was unbelievable. It's crazy how fast time flies, and I just want to just commemorate him. Like I said, growing up in the golden era of hip hop, like he was, I think I may have told you the story, but he was actually at a party that I was at when I lived in New York, and it was nuts. It was 94, 95. I don't remember when it was, but I was there for a birthday party for a lady who worked for Def Jam Records. So there was that's one of the stories that's going to go on my book that I'm going to write. If you haven't heard the Rosie Perez story, that was the same night of the Rosie Perez story where I accidentally spit on Rosie Perez. Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy, crazy story. But he was there that night. Him, Puffy, LL, Run, who was it? Kevin Willis from the Atlanta Hawks was there. Heavy D was there. Dude, it was just insane. So it was before he was like blew up. It was right when he just started, and so it was cool to have been there, and when I was living in New York and be at that party for the lady who worked for Def Jam. So she obviously knew all the rap, a lot of the artists in the industry, so that's why they were there. So, but yeah, it was the 26th anniversary yesterday of his death, and it's never been the same, man. Never been the same. So rest in peace, Christopher Wallace, aka Notorious B.I.G., aka Biggie. Well, the next top of the morning topic: the White Sox travel to Mesa, all the way to Mesa from Glendale, and they will face the Cubs. We have the first Crosstown Classic, the Cactus Crosstown Classic. Today, we travel to Mesa to face the Cubs, 2 p.m. Central. I know there's a lot of people out there in Arizona. A lot of people went out there this weekend. A lot more people are going out there next weekend for St. Patty's Day, the first weekend of the tournament, and the Cubs Sox. This time the Sox will host. The Sox will host next weekend, next Friday, a week from today. The Sox will host the game in Glendale. So they're in Mesa today at the Cubs at Sloan Park. Next Friday they'll be at Camelback Ranch. So interesting. And you know how us baseball fans are here in Chicago. We're going to talk shit even if it is only spring training. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. Oh, the next time of the morning topic. This is bad news. What the fudge crackers? Lonzo Ball. Lord have mercy. So now, this is according to Adrian Wojnarowski, Woj from ESPN. A growing possibility that the Chicago Bulls guard, Lonzo Ball, will need a third tree of them, 1, 2, tree, a third surgical procedure on his right knee. And if he does get it, well, and that'll require 6 months of rehab. So if we're in March, April, May, June, July, August, so September he could be ready to start training. What the fuck is going on with this Chicago Bulls medical staff? I've talked about this before, and I'm going to continue and keep talking about this because there are far too many situations where the diagnosis is a lot worse than originally determined. We can go back to Derrick Rose. We can go back to Luol Deng. Okay, there's a lot of situations here, and this is because this puts the Bulls in a bind. This puts the Bulls in a bind. What do they do? What do they do? Do you hope for the best? Do you think he's going to come back? Now, I mean, you have to start looking at a replacement point guard. Can Patrick Beverley be that guy? I don't know. Defensively, yeah, no problem. Offensively, I don't know. And I've already told you, Patrick Beverley's a ticking time bomb. So when is that going to blow up? When is he going to rub people the wrong way? When is he going to rub Zach the wrong way? And if you said, well, they're boys, they're part of the same representation, the same agencies represented them. That don't mean shit. Remember, Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall were boys too, big time. They were big time friends, and then they went their separate ways. So, is he the kind of guy you want to bring back for another year? And I'm talking about Patrick Beverley. I mean, I hope that this would take care of the situation for Lonzo Ball, because we don't know what this team could be because he hasn't played a whole season. We saw what they could be when he played for half a season, and that half a season they led the East. They had the number 1 record in the Eastern Conference. Call it what you want. Say they're beating up on punching bags, bottom feeders, guys in the cellar dwellers. I don't care. You can say what you want, but until he got hurt, pretty much he got hurt in January, pretty much to the All-Star game, they were the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. So how would that look for a whole season? Because they unraveled when he was out, when he went down. They didn't have a guy to run the offense. I'll tell you what I do like. I'll tell you what really got me excited was seeing the outlet passes. Seeing the outlet passes on Wednesday. We had 2 of them. I think one was a Patrick Williams. And the other one was a Zach. Zach was from AC, from Alex Caruso. Got it, Zach caught it, didn't even dribble. He caught it in stride, took 2 power, and they had the LeBron dunk where he pulls the ball all the way back and slams it in. Those are the things that make this team scary. And the fact that we had 2 of those long passes, beautiful. You saw the one coming out of break to DeMar DeRozan. He was ahead of the pack. Guys, if you get 2 or 3 of those, just think 2 or 3 of those a game, that's 4 to 6 points. How often do games come down to 2 or 3 points or 4 points? That's an easy 4. You know what those baskets are? Those baskets are the bullshit 3-point half quarters before the end of a quarter. All right, those are those garbage ones that mean a lot at the end of the game because you slacked off on defense. One guy leaked out, and oh shit, he got behind the defense for the dunk. But that shit counts, just like the 3-pointers from half court, 3/4 court, from the opposite free throw line. The ones you're like, oh, crazy, but you don't remember, you don't realize that those are 3 points. And that 3 points makes a difference, especially in the NBA, because so many games are so tightly contested that 3 points here or there is huge. It's huge. So you keep getting that's free points. Free points because the Bulls have the ball literally for about 3 seconds. They get the rebound, the ball's up, a dribble, dunk. That's about 3 seconds. Technically a possession, but it's not even a possession. You know what I mean? It's you score and you give it right back. That's what Lonzo Ball did a lot for us last year. People like Javonte Green, Zach LaVine, those guys. Ooh, I just flowed. All right, they were the beneficiaries of a lot of those long outlet passes. They're the beneficiary. And that's what we need. That's what we need. We need to use our athleticism, our youth. All right, we need to. It's imperative that we do that. It's going to benefit us greatly. But for whatever reason, I don't know. For whatever reason, we don't like to do that. Okay? There have been few outlet passes this season. Very few. Let's get it. You know what? Let's get that incorporated more into our game, because if we do, whoo, Charlie. If we do, man, the youth in the again, those are free points. Those are free points that we're getting. All right. So let's hope that they get that together and continue to break out, get out of the break. And that's Patrick Williams gets confidence. All right. We get guys in rhythm, we get confidence, and this is what we need to, if we're going to be a player in the Eastern Conference. Now we're not going to the finals. Don't get silly, but I mean we can do some stuff. Maybe get out of the first round. Highly unlikely, but maybe. Maybe. On the topic, staying with the Bears. Guess what? The Bears have been good, boys and girls. The Bears were awarded a compensatory pick. They were awarded a compensatory 7th round pick. Boy, I tell you, I'm happy as a pig in slop. I think that's great. Yeah, so what happened is because the Bears lost so many free agents, so what happens is the compensatory picks, they come in different ways. They come for different reasons. All right, they come for different reasons. All right, so the Bears case, so when you get a general manager or a assistant general manager or a position coach, they go up and they get a head coaching gig or something like that, you get a compensatory pick. All right. And compensatory picks, and this is from our guy, Alex Shapiro. He's from NBC Sports Chicago. He wrote an article on it. All right. He wrote an article on this, the compensatory pick. He said, and he writes the quote, compensatory picks or picks are awarded at the end of rounds 3 through 7. The picks are awarded to teams who've lost more impactful players in free agency than they gained in free agency in the previous offseason. He also writes, the Bears weren't expected to be awarded a comp pick because they had to sign so many free agents to fill out the roster. But The league determined that the losses of players like Allen Robinson, Akeem Hicks, James Daniels, Bilal Nichols, Andy Dalton, and Pat O'Donnell narrowly outweighed what the Bears received when they signed players like Justin Jones, Nick Morrow, Lucas Patrick, Byron Pringle, Al-Qadim Muhammad, and Equanimous St. Brown. So, yeah. So that's the situation on or the deal with the compensatory picks and the Bears with theirs. So in the 7th round, all right, it's not a great pick, but it's a pick. Okay, it's a pick. And if you're saying, well, what do you get in the 7th round? You know what? Ask the Chiefs. The Chiefs got the running back Isaiah Pacheco, the guy who led them in rushing and was very, very beneficial for them winning the Super Bowl this year. They got him in the 7th round. Okay, we have our, who was Braxton Jones. What do you give him? The 6th round? Yeah. Bellissimo checking in, Papa. How are you from across the pond? Top of the morning to you, sir. I know it's afternoon over there, but top of the afternoon doesn't flow well. It doesn't flow well. Yes. I was in the other thing, the other screen backstage. Caruso, no, I can't play point guard well enough. I think he's much better off the bench with that second unit. So we definitely need a point guard, and hopefully Pat Bev is that dude. All right, hopefully he's that dude. I like him. You know, he hits a key 3 here and there. The defensive side is second to none. So we'll see. We will see. Papa, thanks for tuning in from across the pond. Cornelius, I'm all for bringing Pat Bev back for his toughness and leadership. I am too, but how long do you want to bring him back? 1 year, 2 years? Sign a 2-year deal, trade him after the first, or release? You know, because again, he's going to wear on people. He's going to wear his welcome out. Period. He's going to wear his welcome out. He's done it every place he's gone. But I do love the toughness. I do love the leadership. I do love his accountability. I love it. So we'll see. Yeah, I just don't know if Io's a true point guard. He's played it before. He's played it in high school and in college. He's been a facilitator. But I don't know if that's good enough. Well, guess what? We are going to find out. And staying in the NFL, did I put that in there? Put Houston? Yes. Houston, speaking of picks, Houston, the Texans, they have to forfeit. They have to forfeit their original 5th round pick. Okay? 5th round pick. They're also fined $175,000 for a salary cap violation. So if you don't think that the NFL is watching and going through things with a fine-tooth comb, you are crazy. Crazy. Staying with football, the next top of the morning topic, the Bears re-signed a rarely used, but a guy that I like a lot, Kari Blasingame. Okay, they signed fullback Kari Blasingame to a 2-year deal. Okay, so he will be here for 2 more years, hopefully. They live it out. He was a tailback. He moved to fullback. He was a key blocker for Derrick Henry. Is signaling what they want. Okay, you brought your fullback back. You didn't use him very much last year, why I have no idea. You didn't use him very much as I wanted. And listen, the reason I was upset about this was because he can be used in the passing game. Kari Blasingame is about 240 pounds who can move, who can catch. So some people will argue, but you have a fullback, you take a receiver out of the route, blah, 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 blah. Those are people who don't know shit about football. Shut your mouth. Shut your pie hole, damn it. Kari Blasingame is excellent in the passing game. Okay, I want to see Maybe it's just me being the old school guy. Maybe it's me being the get off my lawn type of guy. But God damn it, why the hell don't we see a kick out with Kari Blasingame? Kari Blasingame on the outside linebacker. Kari Blasingame on a defensive end. Run off tackle, inside the tight end, right off the tackle. Everybody washes down. Tackle hits. If it's an outside linebacker, if they're in a 3-4, and he's lined up, so depending on where that end guy is, it'll usually head up. Then you try and wash your guy straight down. All that's left. So you and a guard head for the play side linebacker and a 3 tech, or the end. That's 3 tech. Leave the end for Kari Blasingame. You have him kick out. If you want, you can pull that guard around. The backside guard. Power G, you can call it. Power with the kick out. The G is the guard pulling around. Why do we not see more of that? I know we're zone blocking, but it doesn't mean you can't run power scheme. We did it last year. I want to see more of that. Use this guy. Then you can have him slide past the outside linebacker coming in or rush. Have David Montgomery pick him up, leak him into the backfield. Leak him into the flat. From the backfield, get it to him in space. And this dude likes to run people over. This dude doesn't like to shake. This dude likes to run people over. He is a north-south type of runner. Let's do it. To borrow the words of the poet laureate himself, Stacey King, it's a simple game. It's a simple game. I hope they use him a lot more this year in those types of situations. Block, 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 leak into the flat. Block, 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 leak out into the flat. These are weapons. And then, Justin, you better learn how to hit that son of a bitch. Okay? You better learn. You're going to learn. All these things these tools are for your benefit, Justin. Get the fullback out on the flat. And at that point, if it's quick, guys just still have their backs to the DBs have their backs to the line of scrimmage because they're covering the receivers if they're a man. It's a simple, simple game if you make it. If you don't, how many times do we have coaches who try to outthink themselves? Try to be the smartest guy in the room. Let's do it. Let's not overcomplicate things. Let's keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Let's do it. The next top of the morning topic is a rough one. Kevin Durant just got traded to Phoenix. All right. And all of a sudden everyone's like, oh my God. Oh, him and Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. Holy cow. Oh my goodness. So they're the favorites in the West now. Well, he made his debut on Wednesday. Here's what happened in warm-up. Here he is. You see him warming up, got his shooting shirt on. Goes, look at his left ankle. Whoop. Bam. Sprains his ankle. Sprains his ankle. He's out 2 to 3 weeks. They're going to reevaluate him in 2 or 3 weeks. Pre-game. That's when it happened. Pre-game. Really, bro? You're going in for a layup, dunk, whatever. You didn't come down on anyone's foot. You didn't. If you're Phoenix, you're like, yeah, what the fuck? If you're a Phoenix fan, what the fuck?
Well, now I want to go into the Wayback Machine and get off my lawn old man stuff. But back in the day, all basketball players wore high tops.
Mm-hmm.
Guess why they wore high tops? Give you ankle support.
Yep.
Now they're all wearing these low-cut friggin' sprinting shoes. No ankle support. It's just
I'm
like
sure he has his ankle taped underneath there.
But any support you can give a joint. Come on, Shawn, you're a running back. Any support you give a joint.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir. I know.
It's just
Although
like
I never wore high top.
well,
No, my first 2 years at Holy Cross, that's the only thing it gave us was little high top Converse.
well, I will say that as a running back or a skilled position player, I don't necessarily think high tops are needed. But for linemen, yeah. Defense, offensive linemen, where you get rolled, anything you can do. But, why? And in football, nobody wears a hip pad.
The hips?
I'm-
hip
No hip pads, and the knee pads are all up between their thigh and their knee now. If I owned a football team, if it was me, I'd be like, you're wearing every freaking pad ever developed. If you all go out there looking like the Michelin Man, that's good because I have a couple $100 million investment in my best player, and I'm going to do.
Come on, it's all you got to look good, feel good, play good. If you play good, they pay good.
No. See,
it's simple. It's typical. You're a lineman, so this is, and I don't say that in a bad way, but you're a lineman, and this is how the mentality of a lineman. You ask a wide receiver, you ask a running back. That's a whole nother story. Why do you think they don't want all that holding?
It slows me down. It slows me down. It's too heavy. Yeah, it weighs less than an ounce.
Yes, it does. It's
psychological.
Totally
slow, and you're right. It cuts the wind by your hips and
it stops it. It's like a sail.
Now I will say, even as a lineman, when I played, I was the guy who didn't want my knee pads in during practice and yada yada. Now, after I got injured, I would have gone out there in a silver Knights outfit. I wouldn't have cared. It took me getting injured the first time to change my mind. Of course, after that, I had to wear a knee brace every practice and everything.
I didn't like to wear, and I like to be streamlined. Right? They had the.
That's true because the wind tunnel tests are the most important part of being
yes. You're getting Steve. Thank you. You got it. You're getting it. As a running back, you got to feel that you're fast. You got to feel it, and it's like a psychology of feeling that you're fast.
Well, look at the stopwatch, and that'll help you feel fast. Or just when you run, make sure you run next to linemen.
That's how I ran my 4.5. All right, I didn't have any pads, But you know what? They started putting the pads inside the girdle.
Yes, the little hex pads. You are correct, but
so that made it easier because we would all wear compression. Because that was the thing. Remember, no one had compression stuff for when we played. But toward the end of my career, when I was with the Thunder, they had the compression pants with the pads and the butt guard already. Because no one plays with a butt guard, and no one. And trust me. And you think, oh, that's stupid, that little pad. If you ever broke your tailbone, which luckily I never have. But I know people who have broken their tailbone. That is not very nice.
Well, when those little hex compression pads, the IHSA, when I was coaching, they changed the rules that if you were wearing little compression hex pads, okay, we'll allow it because the IHSA fought it for a while. So
they had those things. They had the compression stuff, the pants, and then they actually started having the girdle with the knee pads and the little skinny thigh boards in there. So I had foam thigh boards, and I put those in my girdle. Like they were literally styrofoam, but they were like strong styrofoam because I just had to be sleek, man. I had to be smooth. I had to be the wind, baby. I had to.
When they changed that rule that season, we had 2 kids out for 2 weeks with serious hip pointers.
And hip pointers are not fun. I had one my sophomore year in college. Yeah. That should hurt.
And our trainer forced both of those kids to finish the season with actual old school, nasty ass, flippity floppities hanging out the side, hip pads. They didn't like it, but she was like, I ain't returning you unless you're wearing those.
Makes sense. High school, it's a little different.
I do understand. Different. I do understand that high school, which is where I coached, is a little different. But what I want to do is I want to do 40 testing with kids in full pads and then kids with their little compression, and see, have
the
them
wind
run
resistance
it,
is good.
have them run it one right after the other. Run it, change, run it again, and see how much difference it's make. It probably make a lot because it'll be all up here.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Listen, we got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to welcome our first guest. And I'm excited. Oh, shoot. I didn't send it to you? Oh, shoot. I thought I said, my bad. On the other side, Jason Pat, we're going to talk a little Bulls basketball right here. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go?
Excellent. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Every day my dad did that joke to somebody on the planet. Don't think anyone nickels. Oh, stop, my ribs.
Laughter. There's nothing like it. But sometimes it's not that easy to laugh. I have liver disease, hepatitis C. Remember this, it only takes one incident. One moment in time can change everything. Get tested, because no one is immune. It's no laughing matter.
The Canadian Liver Foundation has the facts you should know. Find out more at liver.ca.
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport. Yeah. It's a romance sport. Yeah, it's a romance sport like that.
Every day we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Short. Caruso.
There you go. Whoa, come fly with me. Zach LaVine. A lot of that tonight.
There's a blitz on Jokic.
Oh, geez. They got numbers.
DeRozan to LaVine for two more.
Oh, let me get some butter with that roll.
Kobe White, baseline drive. Kick to Williams. Big three. You bet.
Oh, Sriracha.
Kobe White. To Williams. What a cut and pass as well.
DePaul with a strong two-hand finish.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Those were the bullies, baby. That's what I'm talking about on Wednesday. That looked like a real playoff team. That looked like a real playoff team in Denver yesterday. I mean, 2 days ago. I am fired up about it. Listen, my next guest is a good friend of the program, and I'm excited to talk to this guy. It is, whoo-wee, some Bulls talk, baby. He's a managing editor of Clutch Points, and he's the co-host of Cash Considerations, the podcast that he does with our guy, Ricky O'Donnell. You can find him on Twitter at Bulls_J. That's Jay. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Jason Pat. Jason, what's up, Papa? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am wonderful, man, especially after that big smackdown that the Bulls laid on the candy ass of the Denver Nuggets, baby. That was amazing. That was amazing.
Yeah, very shocking, of course, considering the Bulls have just been kind of meandering along, and it's been a mostly miserable season, and Denver entered that game 30-4 at home. They got a possible MVP with Nikola Jokic, and the Bulls just, after going down, and it looked like it was going to be an ugly game. The Nuggets went up like 10 points in the first 3 minutes. It's like, oh, here we go again. This is going to be a 30-point loss, and it ended up being a 20-point win. The Bulls just they bounced back off the mat.
Who placed that bet on the Bulls, dude? Who placed the bet that the Bulls with the what are they getting 8.5? Who placed the bet? Yeah, well, the Bulls are going to win, but and they're not even going to need the. You know what I mean? Who did that?
Certainly was not me. I would definitely not be betting on the Bulls in that game. Given like earlier in the year, the Nuggets destroyed the Bulls at the United Center. Jokic picked them apart. And that game was totally ugly. And I think everyone expected that to just happen again. And it looked like it was going to, but it didn't. And then the Nuggets just kind of fell apart in that second half. And the Bulls took it to them. Zach LaVine, big game. Nikola Vucevic won the battle of the Nicolas. Again, shockingly, totally outplaying the possible 3-time MVP. Patrick Williams with a big game off the bench, went 8 of 9 from the field. So it was a full team effort. I don't know how much you can really take from it. Yeah.
How crazy was it, dude, at the end of the game where you started hearing everybody yelling, "Let's go Bulls"?
Yeah, I mean, Bulls fans are everywhere. They're all over the place. When I was in Europe in the fall, I mean, there were Bulls jerseys and Bulls shirts all over the place. There's Bulls fans everywhere, which is why it's annoying that the Bulls just have not been good and have been kind of a joke a lot because the Bulls obviously still are like all over the place and a global brand, and something we always talk about on our podcast that I feel like they just haven't taken advantage of that because they don't spend enough money on all that kind of on luxury tax stuff and just and in general. But yeah, for one night at least, the Bulls actually looked like a real team. And like I said, I don't know if we can really take much from it because I mean we have seen them play well in some of these games earlier in the year when they beat the Celtics twice, they beat the Bucks a couple times. They hadn't really had a big win like this in a while, but they finally did. And again, the Nuggets. It's like a weird game from the Nuggets because they came out so hot, and then it seemed like they're we're just gonna roll over these guys like no sweat, and they just kind of just didn't. They had one of their worst games of the season. Again, Jokic had some type of streak where it was like 50 straight games where he shot over 50%, and that got broken in this game. And they just kind of like the Bulls took it to him, and the Nuggets just kind of laid down. And the Nuggets are in an interesting spot right now since they are like 6 or 7 games up with the 1 seed in the West. They can kind of just coast to the number 1 seed in the West, but that's obviously dangerous to kind of coast for a month leading into the playoffs. Like they need to refocus, and they almost lost to the Raptors the other night at home. So a couple ugly games for the Nuggets the last couple nights, but the Bulls still deserve credit for taking advantage because there have been plenty of games where the other team stinks, but the Bulls stink worse, and then they still lose. But this time they did not. So they're 30-36. I mean, the game before the Bulls lost at home to the Pacers, and another inexcusable Pacers loss. They got blown out the game before by Phoenix. The game before that, they almost blew a 20-point lead. Well, they did blow a 20-point lead against the Pistons, but pulled it out. So it's just have a new podcast out on Cash Considerations. Me and Ricky recorded last night where we kind of talked about how this last week is just kind of like been a microcosm of the Bulls season because they have this high against the Nuggets, but then this came right after a terrible loss to the Pacers, and they got blown out by Phoenix, and they nearly blew a huge lead against the Pistons. They're just so all over the place. And we were joking about how their next game is tomorrow night in Houston. And Houston, the Rockets are maybe the biggest joke in the league. And like so many fans are joking on Twitter. It's like they're going to win this game in Denver, and then they're going to go lose to Houston.
Yeah.
Because like that's just because it's just what the Bulls have done all season. I don't think they're actually going to lose.
They're going to probably lose by 20.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened the first time they played Houston this season. they got smoked on their home court in one of their worst losses of the year. Again, I don't think that's going to happen again, but I mean, if it did, it would be kind of funny, and like no one would be surprised because we've just seen the Bulls do this all season. But I mean, I would say like this big picture, this game probably does not mean much in terms of like the Bulls like actually doing important things this season, like making like a run. It does a huge swing, I think, in like the chances of them actually getting into the play-in tournament. Heading into the night, they were 2 games back of the Wizards. The Wizards, before that, the Bulls beat the Nuggets. The Wizards had a 15-point lead against the Hawks, and they choked that game away. So they lost that game. And then the Bulls shockingly beating the Nuggets, a game no one really expected them to win, got them back to 1 game back of the Wizards. The 10 seed, I believe they're a game and a half back of the Raptors for 9. The Raptors do have the tiebreaker, but the Bulls have the tiebreaker over the Wizards. So that's like a big step to at least like going towards the 10 seed. And like the Wizards stink. They're not any good. Like them and the Bulls are like kind of just like a similar team where they have these talented guys like Bradley. You got Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine, kind of similar. Porzingis and Vooch, kind of similar. You got Kuzma on the Wizards, bit high volume scorer. DeRozan, a high volume scorer. Like both two teams with a lot of talent, but just they aren't very good. And it's kind of fitting that they're kind of fighting for the 10 seed right now. And like with the Bulls beating the Nuggets and the Wizards doing whatever they're doing, like I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Bulls do get in the play-in tournament because they still do have some talent there. Just doesn't show up on a consistent enough basis, which we saw over the last week.
Yeah, we did. And guys, we're joined by Jason Pat. He is the co-host of Cash Considerations with our guy Ricky O'Donnell. All right, and we're talking Bulls basketball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. The passing was amazing yesterday, or Wednesday, I should say. I talked about it before you came on. They had 2 outlet passes. They showed one coming out of the break, the one of Zach LaVine, where he had that nasty dunk. If he was bigger and stronger, like I would be scared that rim would have broke. The glass would have shattered. If he was like LeBron size, because that was a LeBron dunk where he brought it all the way back. Maybe because he's with Clutch Sports now, maybe he's doing the LeBron dunks. But he had the LeBron dunk. They had the DeMar DeRozan one earlier in the game when they were going the other way, where he was ahead of the field. That is huge. And I talked about how important that is because that's free cheese. All right. That's like the 3-pointers at the end of a quarter. We're like, shit, because those 3 points matter. When can the Bulls continue to push the ball off the court and get those easy breakaway dunks for the rest of the season? Because they haven't been doing it all year. That was one of the staples of Lonzo Ball last year. He'd get it and he'd look up. I mean, it was Javonte Green, it was DeMar DeRozan, it was Zach LaVine, it was Ayo, it was everybody who was getting out there and running, and especially with most of the guards getting out and running, and Lonzo would get it, toss it up, one dribble, if that, and you're slamming it. Can the Bulls continue to push the ball up the court like that? Continue to get 4, 6, 8 easy points like that the rest of the season?
I mean, ideally they would, but it really hasn't been a thing all season. As you mentioned, that was such a big part of Lonzo's game and why they miss him so much. And now, like with the latest update of Lonzo, that his career might be over. We could get into that later if we want, but they came into the Nuggets game with a good game plan. They made a point to push the pace. I think they had like 19 or 20 fast break points, something like that, which is a lot. And then they also made a point to just attack the basket on drives. I think it was like something around 66 points in the paint because like as good as Jokic is, like that's one, whatever the criticism of him is that he's just not a great defensive player. He's a little slow footed, not a great rim protector. So if you're going to attack the Nuggets, you attack them in pick and roll, you attack them by attacking the basket. And the Bulls did that 66 points in the paint or whatever it was. They dominated in the paint. So in the paint and fast break points. And they did that. Like I said, that can't be replicated every game, but like ideally it would be. And we have seen in terms of points in the paint, we've seen Zach just attacking the basket a lot more. He's clearly healthy. He's been awesome since the All-Star break. You look at his numbers and his shooting percentages are really high. He was 9 of 9 in the restricted area against the Nuggets, relentlessly attacking the basket, scoring in the paint, getting to the free throw line. All stuff Zach's been doing. And obviously Zach also should be a big part of pushing pace too in fast break because he is athletic, getting out and running. That's got to be on him. Not having a legit point guard does hurt in that regard because Lonzo was so good at always just being the look ahead stuff. So that is on the guards to do it and making sure you are looking ahead. I don't know if they can. I don't think they can really replicate that consistently the rest of the season, but it should be a point of emphasis, especially because the Bulls do not shoot many 3-pointers. You need to figure out other ways to get easy points to help make up for the deficit that they always have in the 3-point game. getting fast break layups and easy points like that is certainly a way to do that.
Yeah, it's a great way to do it to subsidize the lack of threes. And guys, we're joined by Jason Pat. He's a co-host of the Cash Consideration podcast, talking Bulls basketball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Because those are your 3 points that you're missing. Those are the extra point that you're missing from not taking the threes. You get 3 of those or 4 of those a game. All right, that's 6-8 points. Those are regular. Those are extra. It could be 3. The way the numbers, the way it works out, the free points, and they got to continue to do that. And talk to me about Patrick Beverley though. What do you think about him getting extension or re-signing here, or do they want him? And if he does, could he be a guy that continues to push the pace? He understands Patrick Beverley's a very intelligent basketball player. His IQ is pretty high. He was one of the guys with the outlet pass a couple of times this season. Is he the guy who can kind of really say, hey, listen, you guys are young, you guys are explosive, you're athletic, let's get out and run? Could he be the guy to kind of to restart that the outlet passes and getting back to the running Bulls?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like bringing him back, I'm assuming they wouldn't mind doing that. And it's not like he's going to cost a lot. He's 34, 35. He's kind of getting towards the end of his career. Bringing him back, probably ideally more in a bench role. They have him starting now, but the Bulls will still need a point guard upgrade because, at this point, again, Lonzo is probably not coming back next season, if ever. You probably should not go into the start of next season with Patrick Beverley as your starting point guard. But bringing him back in a bench role on a minimum contract or whatever, a cheap deal like that, to be a veteran player, just to be a guy that brings toughness and that voice in the locker room. He certainly could do a lot worse, and he's got the Chicago tie since he's from Chicago. So you can certainly, like I said, you could do a lot worse than Patrick Beverley. Like I said, I think the Bulls should also be looking to improve on that position a lot because they can't rely on Lonzo coming back, but certainly would have no issue bringing him back. And I'm assuming he would probably want to stay unless he wants to go somewhere to try to win a title, because next season the Bulls will probably not be a title contender, I would guess, but
probably not.
If he's cool, if he's cool, just staying at home and being that veteran voice in the locker room for a team that can at least be a possible playoff contender team. I'm sure there would be some mutual interest there.
Yeah, because he loves driving past Marshall. He loves driving, seeing his old high school and going to Jimmy's on Grand and Pulaski for a Polish is what he said. So, hey, don't knock it. If you've never been there, you definitely got to go try Jimmy's. They got beefs and Polishes over there. Good stuff. But
gotta love it.
We do got to talk about Lonzo Ball. All right. So the reports are, this came from Woj from the 4-Letter Network. He's most likely gonna need a third surgery. What the hell is going on, man? It was supposed to be a simple knee surgery. They had a second one to, was it a debridement, where basically it was a vacuum job to clean up all
whatever they called it.
Yeah. And he's supposed to be fine, but he's still not fine. Now it's the third time, dude. And this Bulls medical staff has been in question to me for years. They're going all the way back to Luol Deng. All right, Luol Deng, then Derrick Rose. Now you got, it's like, what the hell is going on with these guys? Jabari Parker, if I'm not mistaken, too, had an issue. So what the hell is going on with this guy, and what do you think is going to happen with Lonzo Ball? Because you said his career might be over, because 6 months is what they said is going to be his recovery time, and that's right around October-ish.
Yeah, what the hell is going on is like the perfect phrase, because we don't know what's going on since the very start. I was at the game that Warriors game, January 14th. I was at the game. The Bulls lost the game by 40. It was absolutely miserable. I think Zach got hurt that game too. Awful game. But Lonzo goes out and it's like, he left the game, and it was knee. They called it knee soreness at first, and it's like, oh well, this stinks. And Lonzo's had injury history, and then they report that it's a slight meniscus tear. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they announced surgery 4 to 6 weeks. Fine, whatever. But then they started reporting about how, there's a bone bruise too. And that's making his recovery more, a little longer. But there was still hope that he would be back at some point last season. Then that doesn't happen. And then we get reports of the summer. Well, he's ramping up, but he can't ramp up without pain. And then it just keeps going over the summer. Same thing. And then boom, surgery number 2, start of the season. And then the reports, they're hoping Lonzo will be back around the All-Star break or sometime in 2023. And then that just keeps going, and then clearly just not happening. And then we get the report, all right, he's been shut down for the season, whatever that was, a couple weeks ago, and they finally announced that. And now we get this, that he might need another surgery, and that, 6 months, and that's minimum. 6 months minimum. Given how long he's been out, you have to assume that it would be longer than that. Again, if he ever comes back, I mean, that's 3 straight knee surgeries, and we don't know what's going on. Like there's been like chatter and rumblings a lot, like from like whatever online doctors and like other people that have talked about how like, oh, like there might be some nerve damage in there, or like this. I think it was like Tristan Thompson was on ESPN recently saying like, oh, like this is something that no doctors have like ever seen before, because he's like gone to a million doctors to see whoever specialists. And it's like, I mean, at this point, it's like, is this literally like the first like of this kind injury? Because it's just been crazy from a standard meniscus tears. Guys tear meniscus all the time. You get a surgery and you come back. I mean, whatever. Zach had arthroscopic knee surgery in the offseason, and he's back to himself now. He's back to himself. Yeah. And Lonzo, now we're looking at 3 surgeries without coming back. And the fact that he just can't do any of this stuff without still feeling pain. He can't run, he can't cut, he can't jump without pain. And that video came out. He posted that video on his IG, and you saw him like running on the treadmill, and it like looked awful. Like his like gait was all messed up, and he even admitted that it was messed up. And it's like, so it is. Yeah, it's like, what is going on? What is actually wrong with it? And I doubt the Bulls are ever actually going to tell us. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe if he does have a third surgery, like AK will come out and like with a doctor and be like, this is exactly what's happening. But it seems like I don't even know if they know what's happening with this knee. Like,
you might be right.
It's just been so crazy, and we just don't know. Like you hate to speculate too much because we're not doctors, we're not seeing what's going on in there. But you wonder, like, did the Bulls screw something up with that first surgery? And you talked about like the history they've had with Derek, with Luol Deng, with Omer Ashik. They tried to play on a broken leg in a game once.
I forgot about
and all these
Destroy. I forgot about him. That's right.
Yeah. Just like all these situations. So it's like, what, like, did they screw something up? Or is this just like Lonzo's got his knees are cooked? And then in that case, you do have to wonder, like, what did the New Orleans Pelicans know about his knee problems? Because they were like fine not bringing him back. Like they had Lonzo and Zion together. Obviously Zion has his own injury problems, but like that would have been like a really fun duo. And they were like, nope, we're fine not bringing him back. We'll whatever. The Bulls traded him a couple role players, like a 2nd round pick in that sign and trade. So you wonder, like, if the Pelicans, like, they saw the red flags because of his prior history, and the Bulls just overlooked it or just did not think it was going to be an issue, and they took the gamble on him because we know how good he can be and how important he is, and it's just kind of blowing up in their face, and it's just unfortunate. It's really sad for Lonzo himself that, like, I mean, we're talking about another 3rd surgery and that he keeps feeling pain. Like, you wonder, like, is this going to affect him the rest of his career or the rest of his life? With just like bad knee pain with this kind of stuff. So it's just really sad. It's an unfortunate situation. And it's a situation where the Bulls now have to go moving forward. You have to operate. We are never getting Lonzo Ball back, like in a Bulls jersey.
Right.
Even if he does come back, he's not going to be as good and he's going to be rusty, and who knows if he can actually stay healthy. So they have to operate moving forward as if Lonzo is never playing for them again, which means they need to, again, I mentioned before, they need to try to go find another point guard, a more long-term solution there at point guard. And obviously, we'll see. They have a lot of big decisions to make in the offseason, but getting another point guard will be imperative just because it does seem like Lonzo, I would guess he never plays another game in a Bulls uniform again. But hopefully that's not the case because Lonzo's awesome and he was so fun to watch, and he made the Bulls much better last year.
Big time, and they're still on the hook for $40 million for him too. So that's another thing. That's so he's not rushing. He's definitely not rushing back. Saying, I got my money. I got my money, baby. I am straight. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be really, really interesting. And lastly, talk to me about P. Will. Lastly, because he's developed. We've seen it. It's not as fast as I would have wanted it. I don't think he is at the point where he should have been, in my opinion. I mean, look at Scotty Barnes, his teammate from Florida State. That dude. But then again, I don't watch a whole bunch of Toronto games. You know what I mean? But against us, Scotty Barnes was doing everything. He's blocking shots. He's first of all, he's long. Well, Patrick's long. So, but he was blocking shots. He's active. And I'm like, Patrick, why can't you get like your boy? Because you went to the same school together. So why are we not getting this production? But we have seen him grow. We have seen him get more aggressive. We have seen something. You saw coming out of the break, that pass from Kobe with cutting to the going baseline, and he hit Patrick cutting to the hole for the 2-handed dunk. Beautiful, strong move. We don't see that enough. Talk to me about how happy you are with where his development is. We know with the new the player development department that Acme created.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. It's just like you have to sometimes be really patient with these guys, and it has come along slower than you would have liked. And it seems like he's now bringing him off the bench has kind of helped him. It seems like he has kind of gotten some comfort level. And we had
Which
talked,
is
I
what
think,
I've been
since the start
saying
of the
the
season that
whole.
maybe Pat should come off the bench and not just be gifted a starting spot because he just too often just kind of fades into the background as a starter with those other guys there. And now when he plays off the bench, he has kind of more of an opportunity. And he'd still been up and down. Like before this recent hot stretch, he had been pretty quiet. There are still like a lot of things you'd love to see him do more. He doesn't rebound much. The defense has improved, and he has made some strides with his 3-point percentage. The 3-point rate is up. We saw him in this Nuggets game do a lot of stuff inside the arc. You mentioned kind of the plays you were talking about, cutting. That's obviously super important. So like he has gotten better. Absolutely. It's coming along much slower. And I mean, you mentioned Scotty Barnes. Like Barnes has taken a step back from last season, I would say. But still, though, like in terms of like a full game, like you definitely saw the impact he made at the end of that Bulls game on the offensive glass, blocking shots. He really can't shoot at all, but like he does just like a lot of stuff, and he's super athletic, and he just kind of. I mean, the other guy you want to look at is if like you're really just kind of it's like frustrating, like kicking yourself is Tyrese Halliburton I can't remember what pick he went, but the Bulls needed a point guard in 2020, and Tyrese Halliburton could have taken Halliburton. I don't think anyone expected Halliburton to come out and be an all-star and be so good
I
so
don't think
fast.
so either.
But like this dude, I think it was last night. I think he had like 30 and 20. I think he had 19 assists last night. Something crazy. And we saw him hit the game winner against the Bulls. Guy's an all-star point guard at 21, 22 years old. Like, and it's like, and then you have Pat slowly coming along. So it's like, but like, we do have to be patient. He's still 21 or 22 only. He's young. He has gotten better. And like the Bulls, and we need Pat to be good because if the Bulls moving forward, whatever they do with this roster, and I do think they should probably make some notable changes in the offseason, maybe shift to a little younger core, whether that's like Zach, Pat, whoever else, you keep Kobe. Maybe you let Vooch go. Maybe you trade DeMar and you try to give Pat just more opportunity and see if you can kind of blossom into that guy you want him to be. Maybe he will just kind of take a big step next season. So for now, it's been slow, but it is there. You see it. He has gotten better. Like, I hate to I wouldn't call him like a bust. He's certainly like not at the level you would want for a number 4 pick just yet. Again, when you're looking at some of those other guys that we've talked about, but he has gotten better. He's going to have a long career. He can do a lot of things pretty well. It's can he kind of take those next step and like be like just a consistent 2-way impact guy for a long time? We'll see. Still a lot of time left in his career. And as we know all too well, we've seen some guys go to other places and flourish, and we're seeing. I know Lauri Markkanen's a big outlier. I mean, what Lauri's doing right now is absolutely crazy. Like he is having like a total like outlier jump from what he was. I mean, even last year with Cleveland, like Lauri was fine. He was kind of what he was with the Bulls. To go from what he was with the Bulls and then with Cleveland last year to what he's doing now is a 25-8, 25-9, all-star, big time scorer is absolutely incredible for him. Like you can't expect everyone to do that, and you can't be patient. At some point, you have to make decisions on guys, and the Bulls made theirs with Lauri. I don't really blame them for that, but it is kind of a warning sign where it's like these guys, the progression isn't linear, development isn't linear. Sometimes it just takes guys longer for the light bulb to go off. And like with Pat, it's flickering. You see it there sometimes. It's just not always on. You hope at some point it just fully clicks on for him, and then he can develop into, even if he's not an all-star, but it's like a really high level 2-way role player. Like I said, it's there sometimes, not all the time, but you got to be patient.
Yeah, Halliburton 29-19. I just checked while you were talking. 29-19 yesterday. Just sick. He's cold. He got ice water through his veins. It's amazing. But hopefully Pat gets it together. Remember, like you said, we're like, dude, he's got to come off the bench. I felt he's got to come off the bench. Don't let him. Don't have him. Shrink in dealing with Zach and DeMar and Vooch, and get him in a spot where he's just like, you know what, I'm the man. I can score. I can go ham. I can do whatever I want. And that's what they did. And now he's starting to see. And then when he does play with the ones, you see him more aggressive, which like that's what you want. And even DeMar and Zach are like, dude, shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you guys have it. You're the stars. You're the max player.
Yeah, DeMar is always telling him.
So we'll see. Hey, Jason, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time. But before you go, wait, not so fast. Let everybody know where they can find you and your work online.
Absolutely. Thanks as always for having me. Always a pleasure to talk to you. So you can find me on Twitter, Bulls_J. We mentioned the podcast, Cash Considerations, a Chicago Bulls podcast with my guy, Ricky O'Donnell. As I mentioned, we recorded last night, so it's up on our feed this morning, up on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all over those places. And then I'm also at Clutch Points, the managing editor there. So check out Clutch Points, covering all sports over there, not just the NBA, but tons of NBA stuff there as well. So I think that's it at this point. So yeah, thank you again for having me, and have a great weekend.
Great stuff, buddy. You too, man. Hey, don't worry about the snow, man. It's going to be supposed to be 40 and 50. It's going to be 50 next Thursday. So break out your shorts and your suntan lotion and sunblock.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, buddy. We'll talk. Have a great weekend.
Take it easy. You too. All
righty, guys. That's Jason Pat from Cash Considerations. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. So let's take a quick break. At the other side of the break, we'll have more sports conversation. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JCoyReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My future stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media, who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information and my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Urban. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoyreports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoy.
So I've come up with the family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311.
There are a few who move toward the sounds of chaos, ready to respond at a moment's notice. And when the time comes, they are the first to move toward the sounds of tyranny, injustice, and despair. They are forged in the crucible of training. They are the few, the proud, the Marines.
Step off. Stroman throws to second, and Kemp is going to be an easy out at second base.
The balk call, I'm not sure exactly what he did. Tip, really good down the stretch.
To center, Bellinger back, makes the catch. Holding at 100,000 for the entire year. Slow chopper to a charging Madrigal, makes the play and throws him out. Left. Stop. For the world champion Dodgers. Falling in for a base hit. Happ will stop.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the Marquee Network. The Cubbies. I thought that was a nice little long little intro with the Cubbies stuff, Stevie. I see you, buddy. Yes, they're there's a game against the A's a couple days ago. Things are looking good in spring training for us. For my White Sox, things are looking good for the Cubs. I still don't like. I believe Stroman pitching for Puerto Rico, if I'm not mistaken. So right now, because the World Baseball Classic has started, a lot of teams are, almost just about all teams, are going to be at a deficit. Some of their players, and I don't know, it varies by team, how many of their players are going to be playing for their homeland, their country. Cuba. Okay, the White Sox have a big Cuban contingency on their team. Luis Robert, Yoel Moncada, Yasmani Grandal. They're not doing good. They lost the first two games in the play-in. All right, so that's not good. Dominican Republic. All right, Puerto Rico. So you have a lot of the Latin American countries. Okay, you have a lot of players from all over from those countries. Venezuela, who are partaking in their country's team, their country's national team, in the World Baseball Classic. I don't know when you would be able to have it. Okay. But I think this is probably the right time, but not the right year for us. All right, for my White Sox. There's, Yo-Yo's gone, Luis Robert Jr.'s gone, playing for Cuba. They were in Miami, I want to say. But they're not with the team. And this year, especially with what's necessary for the White Sox, they need a bounce back year. Okay, they need a bounce back year. They need to be there. The Cubs, on the other hand, they're looking good. All right, you see, one of the things that I wasn't worried, just I was interested to see how it would play out, and that's my guy Nicky Two Strikes. All right, they moved him from second base. Nico Horner is playing there now that Dansby Swanson is the big shortstop free agent signing. Nico Horner went to second, and then my guy Nicky Two Strikes, he went to third. So he's playing a new position, getting comfortable there as the day goes, as the spring training goes on. And I was wondering to see how he would do. In one of the clips there, he, had a routine ground ball. Seemed a little slow, but again, he's working out the kinks. It's a brand new position, and I have a soft spot for Nicky Two Strikes. I loved him when he was here. He was just a hard worker, good. He was a Gold Glover in college. This guy was pretty good. All right. He was a guy who took a lot of pitches, went the opposite way, very rarely struck out. I was sad to see him go, especially to the north side. But so I follow him, all right, just like I follow anyone else. I still follow Chris Sale, still follows Carlos Rodon, who's actually going to start the season on the injured list after he got his big contract with the Yankees. I saw a picture of him, and he looks funny. All right, the Carlos Rodon we knew had the beard and the goatee, the whole nine, but when you play for the Yankees, there's no facial hair, only a mustache is allowed. So he's got his little mustache going. So he looks like a little, porn star, cheesy 70s porn star. Not that I've seen a lot of cheesy 70s porn movies, but I've seen a few. What are you going to do? But I still follow him, so with Nicky, the more the more reps he gets, the more time he's at third, the more relaxed he'll be, the more comfortable he'll be. And a good fielder is a good fielder. Okay. I know he may have played second the majority of his career, if not all of his career. But once you're a good fielder, when the ball's coming at you, okay, that doesn't matter if it's at second base, at shortstop, at third base. Okay, your instincts take over. Now it could be a little more difficult at third because you're a lot closer. Okay, you're a lot closer. A lot of times your toes are on the grass, and your toes are going to have to be on the grass more now. Your third basemen are going to be on the grass more now because the bases are bigger. So my question is this. The bases are 90 feet apart. So they're going to have to move the bases because still, I assume it's going to be 90 feet from home to first, and then 90 feet from first to second, second to third, third to home. But if that's the case, is that from the inside part of first base to the first base side of second? Is that 90 feet? Or is it 90 feet from the middle of the base? Because if it's 90 feet from the middle of the base, well, guess what? It's not 90 feet. All right. I told you it's 6 inches shorter because each base is 3 inches wider, bigger. So you're going to have third baseman are going to have to be up all the time. And with the strength that a lot of these batters have now, the exit velocity, the explosion, you're going to be getting a lot of rockets to third base. That's what we'll see how Nicky Two Strikes handles that. Okay. How he handles that. It's going to be, third base is tough. I'm telling you, you're on your toes. Ask Yoan Moncada. Yoan Moncada is one of the best third basemen in baseball defensively. One of the best. Okay. And that's why I think Nicky Two Strikes is going to be okay as well. Because at second base, a lot of times, most of the time you don't get as much action. And if you do, you're so much further back. Okay. So you're not getting the full brunt of blind drives or hard hit shots. Okay. Because it has a longer way to travel. So it slows down a little bit. But at least you can see it longer. Third base, you don't have that time. At third base, you need to be on your toes. And I think that's helped Moncada. I think Moncada's natural athletic ability took over. Okay. And I think Nicky Two Strikes, his natural ability will take over too. Just got to get comfortable with the positioning, throwing it across the field, the diamond, as opposed to from second to first. But I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to he'll be a solid third baseman. And who knows, maybe he improves to the point where he's a really good third baseman. I don't know. We'll have to see. But the one thing that they like about him, that Cub fans should like, is the way he battles. Is the way he doesn't just go down on 3 strikes. He'll go deep into a pitch count. He'll get 5, 6, 7, 8 pitches into a count. He doesn't strike out very much. Puts the ball in play. And with a team like the Cubs, they got some power now. You got Trey Boom Boom Mancini. You got Eric Hosmer. You got Cody Bellinger. You got guys who can put it on the Waveland and Sheffield, okay? Do you have guys who go gap to gap and put a quarter in the merry-go-round and have guys going first to third, second to home, first to home, second to home? That's Nicky Two Strikes. That's Nicky Two Strikes. So with the bigger bases, all right, you're much closer to your next base, which means you're close when you go to second to home or first to third. It seems like they're just trying to get scoring up, get people interested. Which is okay, I get it, but it puts a lot of stress on the defense. Right? I think Nicky Two Strikes, Nicky Madrigal, as the season goes on, as he gets more comfortable, and then next season, he'll be a probably more than serviceable, maybe an above average third baseman. Okay. But today, Sox are at the Cubs. They're at Sloan Park today. And And I know we make more of it than anybody. Players don't care. It's not like, Michael Barrett punching AJ. There's no bad blood between the teams. Okay. It's mostly Sox fans versus stupid Cub fans. It's usually what it is. So it's not the same. It doesn't have the same animosity that Cubs Sox had years ago. Okay. It doesn't. Our players are more friendly. I wish that, to me personally, again, I'm older, get off my lawn type of guy. I would like a little more animosity between the players, but that's not the way the game is played anymore. Everybody's friends. Everybody hangs out with everybody in the off season. All right. They're out in Miami, so you're not going to get that. And in a way it's cool. In a way it's still taken away from the rivalry, the bitterness of the rivalry. But I mean, I guess we all grow up. We all have to evolve, so. But today, I should say, at Sloan Park, could be a good game. Sox Cubs, going to be the first installment of who gets to talk shit, until next week when they go to the Camelback. Sox Cubs again. The Cactus Crosstown Part 1 next week. The Cactus Crosstown Part 2. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Cuba. I was talking about Cuba earlier in this World Baseball Classic and how Yoan Moncada and Luis Robert are not here. They're with the Cuban team. Cuba losing the first 2 games. And that was one thing that I worried about. Like, what if they lose? What if they're not competitive? And you saw Luis Robert had a weird slide back in the second where he got called out. And I'm wondering, the reason I asked that is because their psyche. Like, I'm not a big fan of their psyche. I don't think anyone's a dog. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody has that killer instinct. Like, I don't think Lubob has it. I don't think Yo-Yo has it. And if Lubob has it, he needs to show it this year. That's for damn sure. Like, I don't know what you're waiting for. You got your big contract. I've talked ad nauseum about me getting the feeling that these guys don't train to be the best player in Major League Baseball. They're uberly talented, and their talent takes them and keeps them in the show. But it doesn't seem like they want to be great. And that's the part that bugs me. That's the part that bugs me, is you have the talent that people would die for. They would do brujeria and they would do curses to get the talent that you guys have. And you don't work relentlessly on your game. I don't know. You don't go deep in counts. You don't go, you know what I mean? Like, I see there's so many different things. And trust me, I love my guys. I love Yoan Moncada. If you watch this show, that's my favorite White Sox player now is Yoan Moncada. But I'm critical of him, of TA, and of Luis Robert because they are so talented. That's why I'm so critical of them. Because there should be a fight every year for MVP votes between those 4. Luis Robert, Yoan Moncada, Tim Anderson, and Eloy. They all have the potential to be MVP candidates. All of them. But they're not. And that's the frustrating part as a fan. That's a frustrating part for me as a former player, former football player, as a coach now. And for so long, when you see talented players not maximizing their ability, and then when it happens to be for your favorite baseball team, yeah, it kind of annoys me. It pisses me off. Because I don't know if they know how good they can be. A lot of times you don't understand as a player, you don't understand how great you are, how great you can be. Because I just don't see it. So I'm really concerned with the way that the season's starting, especially with Cuba losing those first 2 games. Are they going to bring that negative energy back to the club? When it's all said and done, is Yo-Yo or are Yo-Yo and Luis Robert Jr., are they going to bring that negative energy back? Because we don't want it. We don't need it. We don't need it. Matthew Lucas in the house. What's up, Papa? Hasem in the house. You're late to the Mickey Ficky party. It's all right, Papa. You can't. Listen. You got that swag, dog. I know you don't got to. When you say the party's at 8 o'clock, you show up at 8 o'clock? No, you got to be fashionably late. I get it. Brandon Shutt's in the house. What's up, Papa? Good morning. You know, Matthew, you're right. All the talent in the world. That's what's so frustrating, because it's not a keen eye of a coach that says they're really talented. It's across Major League Baseball. We all see it. We all see the talent that they have that they don't maximize. We all see the talent that they have that they don't reinforce and work on and build and get better. We see bullshit attitudes. We see jogging to first base because I don't want to get hurt. Well, then train properly in the offseason. Even if you look at YouTube, come on, you can look at YouTube and find different things. If you're having soft tissue injuries and you're not with the trainer you have, go find another trainer. Let me tell you something. I don't know if you know this, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, Yoel Moncada. You guys are multimillionaires. You're multimillionaires. I got to keep it down because other people might hear. You're multimillionaires. Go find you a goddamn trainer who's good. Shh. We'll keep that silent. We'll keep that quiet. And it's frustrating. It really, really is. You know, then we got our bullpen. Okay, well, the rotation. All right, Dylan Cease he got roughed up the other day. I was like, damn, dude, what? You trying a new pitch or something? Because Dylan, what was his line yesterday? Or 2 days ago? It wasn't good. Oh, shoot, I can't even see it. But yeah, he gave up. He was touched up. It looked like it was batting practice for Dylan Cease. Now, if you're going to have that one bad game in the spring and then settle down and get back to the Cy Young Award race, by all means. Again, I don't put too much in the spring training, okay? Because pitchers are working on a pitch, hitters are working on maybe a change in their stance, maybe a change in their swing a little bit, something. It's all the time to get it out. That's why you got 25, 30 games. All right, you work on that stuff. So, you know, when my guy DJ Kuko, when Efren, after game one, when the Cubs won and the Sox lost, after the first game of spring training, he gets on. He's like, yeah, Cubs win, Sox lose. I'm like, really, bro? It's literally the first game. And you're talking shit. Come on. So I reminded him game two and the second and third games as the Cubs lost a couple in a row and the Sox won a few in a row. But big shout out to my guy DJ Kuko. But yeah, so I was supposed to go to Arizona next week. That was the plan. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I'm actually going to be headed to Detroit. Arizona, Detroit. Trust me, I'd rather be going to Arizona. But I'm going with a good buddy of mine. It's going to be because I was interested to get to Arizona because I wanted to see these guys play. I want to see the. Let's see. I want to feel the vibe. I want to watch it with my eyes, but I also want to feel the vibe. How are they conducting themselves? Do I feel that there's a sense of urgency? Do I feel that this team wants to win? Do I feel that they're chomping at the bit to get the season started? Do I feel that? Because that's gonna be a good indicator of how the season goes. And I understand it's 162 games, it's a marathon, and you can't maintain that type of intensity the whole year. I get it, but damn it, you better have it to start the season. There's an old saying: you can't win the division in April, but you sure as hell can lose it. Cubs, same thing. But I'm not worried about them, and that's the thing that bugs me. I think the Cubs are gonna stick to the plan just like they did last year. Now they just have more talent. So all those close games against teams that are equally yoked with the Cubs, guess what? Cubs will probably win. They'll probably win more than they don't in those close games. Games against quality teams that they were close in, they may have a shot now. But I don't feel that yet. I have to wait and see for my White Sox. And as a Sox fan, it's frustrating to have it and talk about it because, you know, as much as I hate the Cubs, I keep it real. I'll give you an honest assessment of what I see from them, regardless of the fact that, I can't stand their fans because their fans are goofy. Sorry, Steve-O. No disrespect. I knew you were going to jump in. But I give you an honest assessment of what I see. So they can't say, oh, you're just a homer. No, I give an honest assessment. And the way that the foundation was built, for those of you who don't understand, this is what, when people talk about culture, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Look at the way the Cubs played last year. Played hard for Coach for their man. I gotta say Coach Ross. Steve, I'll get this craziness out of here. Oh, sorry. Really, dude? Get all this craziness out of here. They played hard, man. They played hard. They were in a lot of games that they probably shouldn't have been in. I loved the way that they played. I won't say that to Cub fans. Let's keep it our secret. But I wanted my White Sox to play that way, and they didn't. So with his talent, with Rossi leading that squad, it should be pretty good, pretty exciting for you Cub fans. All right, you won't be crying as much about the $10, $12 beers at Wrigley. You'll have a good team to watch, a competitive team to watch. That's the team you're going to. You know what? Even if you're talent deficient, if you have a competitive team, that's all you want. Because the Cubs aren't going to the World Series, and unfortunately, neither are my Sox. But you want to get to the playoffs. And your division, you're ripe for it. There's a couple good teams, St. Louis, Milwaukee, but Pittsburgh, Cincy, you got to handle those guys. So baseball is going to be fun. Like I said, I'm not going to a lot of Sox games until I see that they give a damn, until I see that there's a change, and hope Pedro Grifol gets these guys to play for him. Hopefully he is keeping guys accountable. All right. All reports from the article from Daryl Von Shawn from the Chicago Sun-Times, there's rave reviews from his camp, for his first camp, for his first spring training. Back to the fundamental, back to the basics. I'm like, thank you. Build on that. Because if this White Sox team gets fundamentally and sound, get back to the basics with the talent that they have, they'll make the playoffs. And most likely win the division in doing so. But if you get back to playing that undisciplined ball, that bullshit where you're swinging at the first pitch, you're not going deep in accounts, you're not making the pitcher work, you're missing the cutoff man, you're not going first to third, second to home, and guess what? It's going to be a long-ass season again. And if it's a long-ass season, okay, I ain't spending a lot of money at Sox Park. I'll use my credentials. I'll apply for credentials to go there, but I'm not going sitting there drinking and spending and giving you guys my money. Sorry. Is this my guy Caesar? El Maton 65? We'll talk about that in a little bit. Is it my guy Caesar? Good old 65 checking in from Wisconsin. Well, listen, let's take a quick break, and you're going to want to stay right here because we're going to talk on the other side of the break. We're going to talk some football, baby, and I am fired the freak up. We have a first-time guest. He's from Windy City Gridiron, Eric Duerwachter. Yes, it took me. You have no idea how many times I fucking practiced it last night, this morning. I am dead serious. So my guy ED is up next. Oh, you know what? ED does. Yeah, men usually don't want to say ED. Okay. Eric's coming up next. We're talking some football, baby. Some Bear talk, so don't go anywhere, folks. Call your mama, call your daddy, call your brothers, your sisters, your cousins. We got some Bear talk. We're about to get fired up right here on this Friday. This TGI Mickey Ficky Friday right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport. Yeah. It's a romance sport like that.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner. Go.
Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of you, of your families, or your children. Asking you to deploy, patrol, stay on watch, on point. Asking you to put yourself in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to bring you all the way home, to keep you secure, to have your back for the rest of your life. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs do whatever it takes to help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Find out how you can help at findwwp.org.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Hunter Duplessis will get us started. Travis Johnson set to receive. And a knuckleball. We are underway in Houston. Johnson takes it at the 5. It's a key block on the edge. And he's got the sideline. Johnson forced out of bounds at the 40. There's Balaj in a big hole as he picks up a first. 5-man rush to the slant. It's caught. Touchdown, San Antonio. And a handoff. Get it straight up the middle. And a huge run for Borgi. Made the first man miss. Made the second man pay. It's a gain.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of ESPN 2, I believe. The XFL. Steve-O, you threw a curveball in there, baby. I thought there were some Bear highlights since we were talking Bears. And Steve with the knuckle curve. Give me some XFL action, which actually has been pretty fun to watch. I get it, it's not as competitive and the football isn't as clean and as tight as the NFL, but damn it, I can't get enough of football. I've watched quite a few games, and I'll continue to watch few games until the NFL kicks in. And we have a lot of NFL conversation, which has really made it easier. Not easy, but just easier dealing with this offseason. Well, my next guest, first time on. I'm excited to bring him on. He's from Windy City Gridiron. He's a contributor over at Windy City Gridiron. My guy Lester Wilfong and all them, and EJ Snyder and Robert Schmitz. All right. You can find him on Twitter at Eric Durwachter. Okay. I practiced it, baby. I practiced it. Guys, let's welcome to Shawn and Maya for the first time, Eric Durwachter. Eric, what's up, Papa? How are you?
What's going on, man? Bear down. How's it going over there?
It's going well, man. It's going well. Thanks for jumping on with us today, dude. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for the invite. Always happy to come on stuff like this.
Great stuff. So, I don't know if you know it, but the Bears got the number 1 pick. All right. Some people are still unaware of that. And I'm excited about it. As Bears fans should be. There have been rumors, and I think, I've said this a couple times. I think mock drafts are the stupidest thing in the freaking world. They're nonsense, and I can't get enough of them. I look at about 10 of them a day. I smile at the ones I like. I yell at the ones I don't. You know how we are as guys? We just yell at shit, TV, phones. I just yell at those. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. Talk to me about what you're hearing with the trade backs: 1 to 2, 1 to 4, double trade back 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 1 to 4, 4 to 9 with Carolina. What are you hearing? What are you hearing as far as some trade back scenarios that are seemingly realistic for the Bears?
So interestingly enough, we're talking about mock drafts, and I actually did a full mock off season. I just published this morning, and it's a big thing from free agency all the way to the draft. So there's like not just a mock draft, but a mock free agency. And yes, I'm already sick and tired of seeing mock drafts. And I mean, there are plenty of ones I hate, plenty of ones that I'm okay with. But in discussions to the idea about trading down or trading out of the first overall pick, on one hand, the fan in me, I want all the draft picks and I want all the premium football players. And Ryan Poles, the general manager of the Chicago Bears, who was gifted this absolute opportunity from God himself, of the football gods,
and Lovie
because
Smith.
That one from the Houston Texans and Lovie Smith. He gets that first overall pick, and he wants both premium football players and premium draft picks. I feel that's the biggest thing, that this trade, which he also kind of set a soft deadline of March 15th, which is the beginning officially of free agency.
Yep.
In case the idea comes to fruition that there will be not just, high quality, first round picks, second round picks, third round picks, whatever you want, but also you have premium football players you can build with these, building blocks, players that you can lock up for the long term. He'd prefer to have a deal done before March 15th, if it happens.
Right.
But when discussing like overall trade value, the fan in me has to be reserved. And, I have to pull myself back a little bit, because in reality, you look at the history of trades going up to number 1 overall. So like we got like the Atlanta Falcons going from 5th overall to 1st in 2001. You look at when, I believe it was the then St. Louis Rams traded up to number 1 overall for Orlando Pace in 1997 from 6th overall. And then more recently, when the Rams traded up with the Titans for the first overall pick from 15th. The overall amount of draft picks and capital sent, they didn't really mesh, or they didn't really match the wildest dreams that we have as Bears fans. So one thing I do caution is when it comes down to the actual deal itself, we should expect a lot, but it's not going to be like these, give me everything in your franchise, give me your whole football team type deals, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And it's not about, and you get some meathead fans and guys, people who don't understand the game, and I get it, because they're just fans and they don't, football is kind of an occupation to them, and they just make, well, give me 7 guys for the number 1 pick. Like, nah, it doesn't really work that way.
Not gonna
happen. But as long as it's key. So like my ideal in my utopia, the Bears trade 1 to 2. All right, with Houston, the Texans. Okay, and you switch spots. You give us, because what you do is you tell them, hey, Indy wants to come up, and they want Bryce Young. Oh, I know you want Bryce Young, but Indy wants Bryce Young, and guess what? You're going to face Bryce Young twice a year if you don't give us the 12th round pick, is your second first round pick that you have, and next year's first. I'll take that. Just give me those two, this year's first, the 12th overall pick that you have, and next year's first. I'm good with that, because then I can go to Indianapolis and say, well, hey, Carolina's going to trade up to number 4. Okay. And they like CJ Richardson. They like CJ. Did I say CJ Richardson? Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud. Yeah. They like who you like. So now in Carolina's going to want to do that. The Raiders, my guy Luis Mejia in the chat, he's a big Raider fan. He said the Raiders need a quarterback, and they do. So now you can ask them and say, okay, Indy, we're going to swap spots. All right. Give us a second round pick this year. Give us your first next year and give us DeForest Buckner. You don't want that big contract. You got a quarterback you got to develop. So you need the big contract on your hands. Give us that. All right. And then you could trade down to 7, 8, or 9 with Vegas, Atlanta, or Carolina. That's my ideal thing. In a perfect world, my utopian draft scenario for the Bears, because you'll get a whole lot of seconds, which I want this year, and then you'll have first for 24 and possibly 25, and that's how you build a franchise. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are, when you look at the overall history of the draft, I think it's been extremely rare for teams to actually do what's called the double trade within the top 10 overall, let alone top 5. And in truth, I think if Ryan Poles does pull the trigger to pull down, really to trade down, that's where he's staying, because he made a very big deal, a very big point of emphasis of staying within a range to where he still has a comfortable amount of blue players. So the Bears have this system, this grading scale, where I believe they rank players like blue, like their top premium players. And then I think it's blue, white, and then 2 other colors I can't remember off the top of my head.
Orange was one of them. I want to say yellow.
There we go. Thank you. And based on their scale, they want to stay within a preferable range to accumulate as many blue players as possible, blue chips on the poker table. So if they do trade down, I feel that's going to be the one time he does, in fact, trade down in the first, just so he can stay within like that top 10 and still get, an outstanding football player to build with for the next few years. Now, after the first round, it's fair game. We know Brian Poles loves to trade down. We saw it last year at day 3. They legitimately traded down, I think, 4 or 5 times in the 5th until he finally picked someone, and they accumulate so many picks afterwards. That's going to be kind of the same attitude he has starting the second round, depending, of course, what deal he strikes. And from that perspective, I'm looking at the idea, and actually Russell has a good point where it talk about teams like the Texans or even the Colts. I just don't think I'm going to get nearly as much as I want from either organization, unless they get extremely desperate. If I can just pit them in that battle for a bidding war between the Colts and the Texans, maybe something happens. But in my current mock-off season, I'm actually trading down with the Carolina Panthers, because I know for a fact I can get picks up to 2025 plus premium football players like, say, a Brian Burns, who they really need a defensive end that could lock him up long term. So when it comes down to this idea of like doing the double trade, it's very rare that it happens. And I really am in the strong sense of belief that if Ryan Poles does trade down once out of first overall, he's likely staying at that pick or whatever pick he acquires, unless somebody gives him an offer he just absolutely can't refuse.
Dude, listen, Nomad, I was about to say the same thing. I'm like, everyone's saying the double trade back isn't, it's only happened. Like, we don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. This is a guy, you saw his history. You saw what he did last year. He created wine out of water. Okay. And I loved it. And I think he's going to do the same thing. He's got that. He's got all the cards. All right. And the thing about Houston and my guy in Wisconsin, my guy, one of my former offensive linemen, I think they do that, because if you don't, here's what you do. You say, here's what I want. We're going to swap. I want your number 12 this year and your first next year, and then we're done. If they say no, say, okay, no problem. I'm going to Indy because they want Bryce Young, and don't pick up their phone calls until later. All right. Ignore them, and say, hey, here's, what, Indianapolis wants to jump up because they like Bryce Young. Oh, and Carolina wants to jump up because they like Bryce Young. So do you want Bryce Young? It's yours for this year's 12th and next year's 1st. Or you can get greedy if you want. You can with Houston, because again, you don't want to. If Houston passes with what they asked for, and he goes to Indy, and this dude and Bryce Young just takes off for Indy, how pissed is the fan base going to be? How pissed off is the front office above the GM they're going to be? Because like, oh man, dude, like we had him. We have the asset, we have the trade, we have the draft capital with the 12th overall pick. We got our guy. What's the biggest thing in sports? The number one position in sports that you have to get right to win a championship, and that's the quarterback. So hopefully they're ready to do that. But here's the question: how do they feel about C.J. Stroud? How far behind is C.J. Stroud than Bryce Young? Because if they do feel like, who cares? All right. And then here's another thing that I also saw yesterday. And this was from Bleacher Report. And I was like, oh man, this could affect some stuff. And they're talking Jimmy G to the Texans. So, and I know Jimmy G's not the long-term answer for them. Okay, so you're still probably going to draft a quarterback. Okay, or maybe you want to wait and try and get Caleb Williams next year. So maybe they don't. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Talk to me about free agency though. Who do you want the Bears to get? Give me positions. And if you got names, give me names. So give me who would be your first two free agent signings that are not around on the team. I'm not talking Dave Montgomery or anyone else. Who would be your first two free agent signings for the Bears?
Okay, before I get to that, there was one thing I wanted to bring up in terms like potential trade partners for like the draft. So the biggest wild cards to me is the one that really is not being talked about. That's actually the Seattle Seahawks at 5th overall because they were gifted with that fifth overall pick, and now they're in the best position of any NFL team to build a bridge at quarterback between Geno Smith and then you got a player they would just really love at 5th overall. If it's a quarterback, they can say, maybe like a guy like Anthony Richardson, who I think is not anywhere close to being ready to play, nowhere close. But they could say, we like this guy. Let's pick him, stash him, let him grow. And that could really upset a lot of teams like the Raiders, the Panthers. And when talking about like that Jimmy Garoppolo idea to the Texans, they're kind of floating it right now. There's always the idea they can kick really that can down the road until 2024. But they could also just say, well, let's sign a bridge and then draft a quarterback behind him, which is always a bad idea to me. And that's going to influence free agency a lot. Moving into free agency, the two positions I'm starting off with are defensive tackle and right tackle for the Bears. I mean, I can't overemphasize the fact that the offensive line was just, well, it was dreadful. We had two long-term pieces figured out between Tevin Jenkins and Braxton Jones. That's it. Those are the only two players I feel have a definitive future in Chicago. And then you look at right tackle and center. I really like those positions in free agency. Left guard is kind of an iffy, kind of a so-so thing. We have Cody Whitehair, but I do expect him to be cut pretty soon. And that's based off conversations I've had, based off of different reports I've read. So there's three spots in the offensive line that are available, but right tackle clearly has better players available in free agency. And then you look at defensive tackle, that 3 technique is the motor that drives the Bears defense. And you look at a player like Draymond Jones, young ascending player, wasn't a full-time starter until last year, but he's averaged double digits in quarterback hits, very high pressure rate. I think it was 45% pressure rate. One-on-one matchups was pretty high. He's got all sorts of crazy stats, despite originally being a part-time rotational player, turning into a full-time starter. And he's a guy that I would really invest big money with too. I saw Tom Pelissero of NFL Network reporting he could be seeking up to $18 million a year. I don't think he's worth that much, but somewhere like, say, a 4-year deal worth $60 million and $15 million per year, that might get the job done for a guy like Draymond Jones, especially since the Washington Commanders slapped the franchise tag on Deron Payne.
That hurt. That hurt big time.
That hurt big time, but it didn't hurt too much. I mean, if you feel that Draymond Jones is too expensive, then you can pivot to kind of the older guy, but still an excellent football player, Javon Hargrave, who is the best pure 3 technique on the market. But I think he's going to go to Cleveland once they get that whole cap space figured out. And then you look at right tackle. I mean, there really are 3 big names the Bears are all most likely going to at least sniff around. They are Jawan Taylor, they are Mike McGlinchey, and then you have Caleb McGarry. Caleb McGarry has a pre-existing relationship with Bears offensive line coach Chris Morgan, and where he kind of started off very rough in the beginning of his career, he ascended pretty nicely last year. Same thing for Jawan Taylor. Jawan Taylor was kind of a bit of a, touch and go, a little bit rough around the edges his first few years as a pro, but then he kind of really blossomed last year when given the opportunity to be a full-time starter. But then there's Mike McGlinchey. I know a lot of people don't like Mike McGlinchey. You look at him, he's not the greatest pass protector in the world. Of course, what do the Bears need? Pass protection. However, he's also not anywhere close to being the worst option on the market. And he's been perhaps one of the very best run blockers in the league at right tackle.
Yes, he is.
And he played in a scheme that's almost identical to the Bears in terms of the wide zone concept. So the run game, the pass protection concepts. Mike McGlinchey has played at a solid, respectable level his entire career with the 49ers. And he's already said he's leaving San Francisco and looking to get a deal done pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and
by the weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
There's one team that can make that deal quickly enough. That would be the Bears. I don't think he's going to get as much money as Jawan Taylor or Caleb McGarry. But for me, Mike McGlinchey's he's the best proven commodity in the market. And when you look at how bad they were at right tackle last year, we look at the type of upgrade that Mike McGlinchey would bring. He also would not be the most expensive option on the market, even though the Bears have the most cap space by over $30 million. It's about making smart financial decisions at free agency. So for two positions to start off with, I'm looking at offensive line. I'm looking at 3 technique. And also I'm going to venture into like wide receivers. What can I get in the receiver market? It's pretty bad in terms of free agency signings, but trade market, a lot of opportunities there. And then you look at other potential markets like the linebacker market, and we can go on to those conversations if you want. But
so your first two, give me your top 2 positions then. Your top 2. So offensive line and D tackle 1, and then O line 2, or O line 1, D line 2. Which way?
Specifically, it's going to be defensive tackle number 1, specifically that 3 technique. We got to get that 3 technique figured out. And then right tackle will be position number 2.
Okay. I'd be a little different. I'd go offensive line. You got, Orlando Brown and McGlinchey or Taylor. Either one of those. I'd say Orlando Brown left tackle. Okay. McGlinchey right tackle. You have those guys. And you have here's the thing you build depth. All right, because as much as Braxton Jones started every game last year, played well, he didn't handle the bull rush very well. So he needed a whole season, off season of actual strength training in an NFL off-season program. So you know what? Go win it. He's a starter. We signed him to X amount of millions of dollars. Can you beat him out? Go beat him out. Mike McGlinchey, you're the right tackle. You have the job. Leatherwood, you want to play? You're not gonna have. We don't anticipate you having mono again. So you're not going to be light. You're not going to be weak. You're not going to be slower. You're not going to be less explosive than you normally are. Go fight for the job. Settle that. So give me the O-line. Give me my first 2 tackles, and then I'm going after 3 tech if I can. If there's a trade with Indy, I am definitely asking for DeForest Buckner. Definitely asking for him, because that takes up a huge. And not that he's the best defensive tackle in the world. That dude is a great. First of all, he's an upgrade from what we had, and secondly, now we can go get an edge rusher if necessary. If for whatever reason, because you know as well as I do, that draft is crazy. So number 3, Arizona might trade out to a team that wants a quarterback. So if the Bears are at 4, they still may be able to get Will Anderson because someone traded up for the 3 for a quarterback. 3 quarterbacks. The quarterbacks might go 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Cornelius. Yeah, Greg Gabriel says he believes that Orlando doesn't fit the Bears system. No. Yeah. Also, I agree with Bearlissimo. Said Braxton can play. He could. Yeah. And here's the one thing that I love about it, though. You're building depth. So if you're not if one guy gets hurt, we know the NFL how it is. You got a guy who can step in, who can play at a starter's level. Maybe not as great as the guy before, but at a starter's level. So I'm like, I'm happy. That's where I would go with that. Give me one of your just craziest free agent signings, like just off the wall. What would you, just for shits and giggles, like, let's go get something like this. What would you think? Give me one of yours that the Bears could do.
There is one crazy signing I think they will do, or at least potentially could think about, but also brought up Greg Gabriel, and I have a great amount of respect for him and conversations I've had with him. And there is that concern with Orlando Brown where, he's an outstanding player at times, but then you look at how he would fit as a left tackle. And this is a very athletic offensive line the Bears are trying to build. So you do have to watch out and see, can you fit your system enough for a player like Orlando Brown, who would be a very expensive football player. So always keep in mind what we think looks like a great idea on paper, gets signed, then comes to the system, and they're not really a pure fit, or not the greatest fit, then it turns to a bad signing. So there's always that, kind of the weights and balances of any major free agency signing. And that's for my guy, Greg Gabriel. Really fantastic, very knowledgeable guy. But the wackiest free agency signing that actually have been campaigning the Bears to make is Mike Gesicki, the tight end of the Miami Dolphins. Because when you look at what the Bears tried to accomplish last year,
I like that, dude. I like that
they
a lot.
spent a lot of time in 12 personnel, so 2 tight ends. They have a promising player in Cole Kmet, who I think will sign an extension somewhat soon. But then you got Mike Gesicki, who played in a similar system last year, didn't really flourish in Miami last year because ultimately they have the fastest receiving core in the league. I mean, why not throw it to that receiving core like Jalen Waddle? Why not throw it to Tyreek Hill? Why not throw it to the fastest receiving core in existence? And that's really what happened to Mike Gesicki. Just they love throwing their receivers a lot more than the tight end. He comes to Chicago, all of a sudden he's a featured player again. And
but would you pay for him, or would you would you go on the draft because they're pretty good? This is a pretty deep draft for tight ends. Would you pay for him, or would you go after there's a kid from Michigan, the Schumacher kid. There's a kid from there's 2 or 3 other good tight ends that So would you want to pay for him, or would you rather wait for what would you think would be better? Would be wait for the draft?
Actually, here's my insanity here, and this is what I did in my mock-up for offseason. I'm doing both.
Let me hear it. No shit.
I'm doing both.
Shut up. Shut up.
I'm actually stacking the tight end room because you look at, would you see Luke Getsy try to do last year? He wanted to run 12 personnel so badly last year.
You're gonna run 13 personnel?
I mean, we literally saw him do that last year. We saw him do that, 13 personnel, including, or sometimes it'd be like he would have 21 personnel, but with a tight end in the backfield as opposed to a fullback.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm stacking the tight end room as much as I can because of how deep the tight end class is. I mean, you get a guy like Mike Gesicki to pair with Cole Kmet, and then you got Sam Laporta from Iowa. I hope I said his name right. But you got, I feel, the next great athletic tight end coming out of Iowa. A little bit on the smaller side, but outstanding football player, absolutely tough as nails. Has that similar mean streak to what we see from George Kittle on a regular basis. And, I mean, for me, I don't have any single problem whatsoever taking what has been an incredibly weak tight end room and making it the deepest in the league. And then on top of that, how do you help your young quarterback like Justin Fields? What's one of the best ways to help him? You get weapons however you can. And when you actually kind of look at what the Patriots did years ago, they signed 2 different tight ends to contracts worth over $12 million per year. Yep. The deal I have for Mike Gesicki is about more like $9 million per year, or $38 million total between 4 years. Again, that's just my numbers. Come at me if you want, but you build that tight end room to where you don't have an issue anymore, and then you keep stacking blue chip players as they come. So for wacky ideas and wacky offseason moves I'd make, I'm stacking that up. It's not just the wide receiver room I want to rebuild. It's that tight end core I really want to rebuild. And if I can get a Mike Gesicki in free agency, if I can sign Cole Kmet to a long term, and I can draft a guy like Sam Laporta, hey, no longer an issue to worry about.
Guys, we're joined by Eric Durwachter. He's a contributor over at Windy's Hated Gridiron, talking Bears football with me right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. So what do you do with the running back position? Dave Montgomery is a free agent. We just saw Saquon Barkley just got tagged, so he's off the table. What do you do with this running back position? Because there's a lot of running backs coming out. I mean, you look at the Chiefs, they got Pacheco in the 7th round. So you don't need a big-time running. Or do you just want to pay Dave Montgomery? What would you do for the Bears this year with that running back position? Because I don't think Khalil Herbert is a good enough pass protector to leave him in on 3rd down. they have a couple running backs and Darrington Evans and Treston Ebner who really aren't good pass guys. They're more of like third down type of backs, home run speed, but third down type of back. So what do? You resign Montgomery, you go get Miles Sanders. What do Josh Jacobs he's tagged too, so he's off the table. What do you do in the running back position? Or do you just go draft Chase Brown from Illinois who's got crazy speed?
I mean, for me, like, I'm a big Dave Montgomery fan. He's been a very important, a very integral part of that locker room for the Bears. And I still hold out hope, and I still have a little bit of a belief he will be re-signed by Chicago. But if he decides to part ways and go to Kansas City and reunite with, Matt Nagy, who was his offensive coordinator. Yeah, we all remember him.
Yeah, that joker.
That guy. But, Matt Nagy, still has a close relationship with, Dave Montgomery. I personally try to re-sign him to like a 3-year deal, $24 million. But if that does not happen, then there's kind of like that one option of free agency I would really look into, and that would be Damian Williams from the Detroit Lions.
The Lions.
Yeah, he's let me make sure I
guy.
said he's the right player. Hold on just a minute, because I hate when I get the wrong name for a player, but yeah, I basically have that option if you want to splurge a little bit. Jamal Williams. I need to correct myself.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I need to correct myself. So it's Jamal Williams.
He's the younger one. Yeah, Damian's a little older, isn't he?
Yeah, Damian, former Chicago Bear, but yeah, enough of that.
Nightmare Nagy, my guy Lewis says. Nightmare Nagy.
Nightmare Nagy. And you look at that possibility for a free agency signing, but ultimately I prefer to have Dave Montgomery. And then I'm going once again into the draft. And a player I'm really intrigued with that fits the Bears perfectly would be a guy like Eric Gray out of Oklahoma. He was a player Luke Getsy recruited hard. And I mean, he wanted him bad back in college, and Gray has a very good relationship with Luke Getsy as a coordinator. And of course, Luke Getsy was there at the Senior Bowl, coaching that American squad. Yeah. So I feel the Bears, once again, they're going to look at the idea of bringing back Dave Montgomery. If they can't bring him back, sign someone like Jamal Williams, who had a monster year for the Detroit Lions. And then you look into the draft to really bring in that additional piece to throw into the mix, because like you mentioned, Khalil Herbert, he's a fantastic explosive runner. We've seen him hit the home run. That huge game he had against the Houston Texans was kind of like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
But then he does not have the ability to be a dependable, pass protector on a third down if he's called into the situation, which kind of limits his ability as a 3-down back in the league. So you look at bring Dave Montgomery back. If you can't, you've got options in free agency. Don't overspend, because running backs are the most replaceable position in the league right now, at least. And then look into the draft, like probably day 3, to bring in another guy to fill a depth chart.
Okay. I would say do whatever you can to sign Montgomery. All right. I know he's not your guy, but he's done everything that you need. I love the way he runs. He runs violently. I love the way he pass pros. He could be a little smoother out of the backfield in the pass game, but he can still catch. You know what I mean? He's not as smooth as.
He gets the job done. He gets the job done to a high level. That's why I've always been a big fan of his.
And then once he gets the ball, then that's a different story. Like, because he's just a monster. Like he's trying to go to the house, but if you're in his way, he's going to let you know that you shouldn't be in his way. You know what I mean? So
I mean, it might be hyperbole, but it's kind of like watching the old school highlights of Walter Payton, like the old mentality. He said, "I'm bringing the physicality to you. You don't hit me, I hit you." And that's
he
running
attacks.
style that Dave Montgomery. He loves to initiate contact. He doesn't run from contact.
Right. I think that's a good thing. And people are like, how can you compare to Walter Payton? Like, relax. If anyone's blowing a gasket over there, it's initiating the contact, and that because and that's when I played. That was my whole career. That was my mentality. Initiate the contact. All right, because I was usually bigger than the DBs anyway. I was playing at like 205, 210 before I got heavy, and but even at that point, I was just strong. So I would always initiate the contact, and always fall forward, and that's what David does, and I love it. So I hope they do sign him. I think Treston Ebner and Darrington Evans might be gone at this point because they may just go get a running back in the draft, but it's so hard to find a 3-down running back. It's really, really hard because if they could, I think that would be a great one. And I know I'm asking a lot, but if you could find a 3-down running back with home run speed, fifth round, sixth round, seventh round, a day 3 guy, holy shit! Then you gotta scoop him up, or an undrafted free agent.
Yep.
Barelissimo had it right, like Walter said, never die easy.
Never die easy.
What is Lou Nichols, Barelissimo? What position we were talking? Is he a running back? Let me know in the chat. And Cornelius has this true. He said, get a better O-line, and Montgomery will be even better. I agree. This is why I think you should keep him. I think I agree with you. I say give me 4 for 35. Give him guaranteed $15 million. The last year is, you cut him after his 3rd year. Give him most of his money in his first 3 years, right? Because at that point, Khalil Herbert should be good. You probably have another, you know what I mean? And running backs, like you said, they're interchangeable. But you pay him for what he's done. If you really want to front load it, just front load it. Give him 3 for 25. And then cut him after two more years. You know what I mean? And he'll have most of his money front loaded, like I said. And trust me, the Bears Nation will be happy. He'll be happy. His teammates will be happy, and then the organization will be happy because they know they got a stud at running back, and for the next couple of years. So, okay, barely he's a running back. Barely was talking about it. Kid's a monster. 6'1", 2 1/4, 4.45. Super hard, very small in the hold, kill people in pass pro. Good. Okay. I will check him out.
My question with him came up with for that particular player. Kind of came up like, what is he? How is he contributing in the receiving game? Is he more of a natural receiver? Is he more kind of like a in the ball, the breadbasket kind of guy? That would be kind of one question for that player in particular. But really violent runner, and it's just one of those times where you look at, again, how does each running style complement one another before we get too carried away with running backs. But that's a part of the Bears' identity, is being a very physical, smash mouth team. No matter how nice or how nasty the weather is, it's always going to be smash mouth football with the ability to go over the top in the play action passing game. And people hit it right on the head of the nail. They've got to upgrade the offensive line, not just for better pass protection for Justin Fields, but to really open up more running game opportunities, because I lost count how many times Dave Montgomery we've met in the backfield. When someone like Sam Mustard misses block, or Cody Whitehair misses block, or so many missed opportunities for what could be potentially big plays, all because the offensive line failed to really open up that hole. Or they get pushed back into the infield, in the backfield 5 yards, right at the snap of the ball. So that center position is going to be really big for the Bears to fix that run game as well.
I think you're right. You know what? I think that's going to help a lot with this run game. And I think that's why you really look at McGlinchey. All right, because people, they talk about his pass pro and don't expect, and here's the thing that I want people to know: like, don't expect the Bears to throw him 50 times a game just because you get a better offensive line. Don't do that.
No.
What this better offensive line is going to do, it's going to allow Dave Montgomery, Khalil, or whoever they sign, Khalil Herbert, all right, and either Darrington Evans or Treston Ebner or whoever they draft, they're gonna go wild. If you had the number one running game last year for most of the year, okay, guess what happens when you have a better offensive line? All right, but guess how much better Justin Fields is going to be, all right, because he has protection, and the longer he has protection, if you have a spy, does he stay there? Does he drop? Do you know what I mean? It's going to be so much better for Dave Montgomery to get more yards, the number 2 running back to get more yards, and also for Justin to get more yards, because if Justin can pass, get more time in pass pro, what are you going to do? You are literally stuck. You leave a spy there that takes guys out of the secondary. You're going to drop that spy. Well, then now you're leaving a running lane for Justin if things break down. And defensive coordinators are going to have a nightmare, which is why, goes back, I'll tie it all in a nice little bow. This is why you go get Orlando Brown, Mike McGlinchey, and call it a day. Braxton Jones, Alex Leatherwood, you two fight for this position, for your positions if you want it, and make competition for they're the starters. You do what you can to try and unseat them, and may the best man win. Because I want these guys. There's nothing like, so 2 of the guys who are on this thread were my 2 of my linemen, Armando Lara and the guy from what's it, Caesar? Where's he at? What's Caesar's thing? Hold on. El Maton 65. Those are my two guards in one of the teams that I played. And I tell you, running behind offensive linemen and understanding that you have the confidence that they're going to dominate their guy, man, there's nothing like it, dude. There is nothing like it. So get that O-line set up, in my opinion, and it's going to help everybody. And, man, watch out for this. Let me ask you one last question before we go, since how big of a step? So I think you and I both know, or we can agree that they're going to upgrade the offensive line. Whether they get 1 tackle, 2 tackles, draft a guy, and I still think you still draft 1 or 2 guys, whatever. This offensive line is going to be upgraded. Okay. How big of a step do you think Justin Fields takes? Do you think he gets to the MVP conversation? Not saying he wins it, but do you think that the step that he takes is going to be big enough to be in the MVP conversation? Do you think it's going to be big enough for him to take the Bears into the playoffs, just the playoffs? Do you think it's going to be big enough for him to get 3,500 yards? How big of a step forward do you think Justin Fields will take after this offseason of free agency, the draft and undrafted free agents?
So, and when we're talking about fix the offensive line, one big position I want to highlight is center. You really got to fix that center position moving forward. And I feel, a guy like, Garrett Bradbury make a lot of sense as an upgrade over Sam Mustipher or Patrick Lucas, who was just, you really couldn't depend on him to play much at all last year.
He couldn't stay healthy.
He couldn't stay healthy. And, you look at upgrading that center position from, left guard, center, right tackle, and then to help Justin Fields take that next step. And I feel the sky is truly the limit for Justin Fields. That's why I always roll my eyes when some fool like Mike Tannenbaum would go on ESPN and say, I want to trade Justin Fields because Bryce Young's going to be better. No, Bryce Young's not going to be better. In fact, you actually recreate the exact same issues you're trying to fix by you ditch the quarterback for in Justin Fields, you bring in Bryce Young, then you put him behind such a porous offensive line, no supporting cast, receiving core. You just recreate the exact same issues in the next year, and you potentially ruin another quarterback. So you get Justin Fields the actual help he needs, and he's a far superior player than what he gets credit for. He's an outstanding passer. We saw him at Ohio State when he actually is given the tools to succeed. Great offensive line, outstanding receiving core, great play calling on the sidelines. And is he MVP caliber? I can't say that yet because ultimately it's a bad idea to jinx that.
Well, I'm not saying that he's going to be the MVP, but just in the conversation.
Huge step forward. I expect if you put him in that actual position for success, you build the trenches, you build the receiving core, you give him a defense that can actually stop the other side from scoring. Justin Fields is on the way to greatness, and he made huge strides last year to suggest that. It's not just him running for like 50 yards in the backfield and running for another 60 yards downfield for one of his 60-plus yard touchdowns. It's all about progressing to the next step in the passing game. How do you do that? You fix everything around him, and then he definitely is that franchise caliber quarterback. He can get you to the playoffs. He can get a deep run in the playoffs. He can take you to the promised land one day. Of course, we all want Super Bowls. And one very interesting conversation.
I heard the S.
Yep, Super Bowls. I heard. And that's the thing. It's just Matt Eberflus. When Matt Eberflus was asked about can Justin Fields take that Jalen Hurts-esque step forward in the second year, he didn't shy away from that conversation.
No, he didn't.
He suggested it's possible, but again, the Bears understand this more than anybody else. Matt Eberflus understands this better than anybody else, and Ryan Poles understands this better than anybody else. We all need to get better. Justin Fields needs to get better, but more importantly, the players around Justin Fields need to get a lot better. Once they do that, once they fix the offensive line, they get some actual dependable weapons in the receiving core, and really, you can't overlook that defense either. You got to fix that unit up front. The sky truly is the limit, and he can. And I believe with every confidence in my body, he will take that big step in year 3 to really get the Bears where they want to be as champions.
Man, let me tell you something. I have to, Eric, that was awesome. Great stuff, man. I appreciate it. I got to take Lester out for a drink when he comes back across the border to a real estate. But I like to tease him. Hey, listen, do me a favor though. Let everyone know before you go. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Absolutely, man. So you can find me at Windy City Gridiron. And basically it's going to be at WCG Gridiron. That's where we all like to write at for some of the very best Bears content in existence. And then, of course, for again, my Twitter handle, you can go like eDurwachter, which you say my name perfectly, by the way. So I appreciate that. Much love.
Thanks, man. I
You
told
can
you
find
I
me there
practiced.
mostly. Yeah, and it takes a lot of practice. I mean, my RDCs and DIs over there at OCS and boot camp, I mean, they're like, nope, you're the guy with the long last name. That's it. So you basically look at Windy City Gridirons where you can find me. You can find me on Twitter a lot. And yes, I'm wearing the green to channel my inner gang green to get Aaron Rodgers to New York. That's what I'm doing right here. Give me that good luck charm right here. But
that would be from your lips to God's ears.
To God's ears. And it sounds like it's happening, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So find me at Windy City Gridiron. Find me on Twitter. And I really enjoy the conversation, my man.
Eric, good stuff, buddy. We'll have you back soon. All right. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Shawn. Thank you.
Right, but no problem. Guys, that's Eric Durwachter. He's a contributor over at Windy City Gridiron. Yeah. Dude, they just keep getting, they get a lot of good guys over there at Windy City Gridiron. Love the stuff that they have. Great conversation. Good stuff, man. This is exciting. Exciting. I got the hair on my arms standing up. I'm excited thinking about free agency starting next week and who they could go get. Possibly trading back. I love it. But let's take one more break. This is the final break of the show, the final break of the week. And yes, all right, we're going to wrap this show up nice with a nice little bow and wish you off and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful weekend. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators. A passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds. Help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Every day we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
You want to win this game, you got to find a way to win. You got to want it.
Vucevic on a foul.
Oh, free cheese. You can tell Murray's upset about that play.
And now Vucevic, beautiful pass inside for Williams.
Oh, Patrick Williams playing the baseline like John McEnroe, baby.
Here's Jokic again. Driving Williams to the paint, lost it. Was that DeRozan? He got his hand on it, and DeMar puts his hand down.
Don't jump, KCP.
Here's Kobe White. That's a three.
Now play defense on the other end.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Just got done with some Bears talk, too. I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up for the weekend, baby, with Eric Wachter. He's a contributor over at Windy City Gridiron, talking some Bears football, and it's going to be exciting, man. The free agency starts. The 13th is the legal tampering period. They might have deals done already. Let's be honest. Let's keep it real. All right. Today's the 11th, 10th. 11th is Friday, Saturday, 12 Sunday, 13 Mondays when you can start. They might already have deals. They're probably talking to people already. Okay. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, man. It is a time that we haven't had, a feeling we've never felt here in Chicago. Okay. We've never felt this. We've never been in this situation before. Okay. How many people have been happy after a 3-win team we're like the happiest fan base in the NFL. We might even be happier than the Chiefs. All right. We might be a happier fan base than the Chiefs right now, because we understand that the fortunes of this franchise could be altered for the next 10 to 15 years. 10 to 15 years. We got our quarterback. Anyone who says Justin Fields isn't the dude, you're a fucking idiot. Okay? If you say that Justin Fields isn't the guy, don't ever talk to me about football again. Ever. Sports in general, don't ever do that. Mike Tannenbaum, I get it. I'm telling you, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I truly am. I think he did that on purpose. Because there had to be one guy to say, okay, trade Justin Fields, restart the clock, blah, 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 blah. You don't trade a guy who's done some of the things that Justin Fields has done. You pay your quarterback, because you don't know if Bryce Young can do those things. He did a lot in college. How many quarterbacks have we seen in college just not transfer over to the NFL? Okay. So I think it was done intentionally to drive the market up on Bryce Young. Personally, that's what I think. I could be wrong, but and you always have someone, you always have that guy, you always have somebody who comes with just crazy shit. That's cool. But they're not trading Justin Fields. Never. Okay. Monday, you're right. So mad. Deals are going to start leaking out really soon. I'm telling you, I want the McGlinchey thing. I want the Brown thing. Get those two guys. Okay. Your O-line is shored up. And people are talking. And here's the thing. All of a sudden now everybody's like, well, Orlando Brown might not be the best. He won't be the best offensive tackle in the game. Okay. I think, call me crazy, I think it worked out pretty well for Patrick Mahomes the last couple of years. Am I wrong? He doesn't have to be the best. He's the best available this year. So if he's the best available this year and he's good enough for Patrick Mahomes, I think he'll be good enough for Justin Fields. Okay. We don't have to have the best player at each position to have a great offensive line. That's a unit. I got two guys in the chat who are part of a unit that I had, Junior and Caesar. Was it El Maton 65? Is that what it was, Papa? Yeah, El Maton 65. These are two of my guards. They were part of a unit that moved in sync. So you don't need to be, the Bears don't need the best left tackle in the game. They don't need the best right tackle in the game. They need solid, they need good, no. Above average to really good players. If you have a great one, cool. Cool. Yeah, you're right. There are more people coming in Minnesota, in Tennessee, Cleveland. You get 1 or 2 pieces from those guys. There are going to be a lot of cap casualties. This is fun. This is fun. And no matter, you never reached out to me, so you don't, and you got to remind me, dude, I get busy during the week and the weekend, and I know your show's on Tuesday, and reach out to me, connect with me on social media. You know what it is. The Shawn Sierra, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It's all the Shawn Sierra. So if you're on, you got to be on Twitter, I would assume. Reach out. You can hit my DMs like, hey, boss, it's Nomad. All right. You guys who do a show, you guys who have a show on other platforms, dude, hit me up. I will. Fuck yeah, I'm going to support you guys, man. Of course. This isn't, if someone listens to my podcast, I can't listen to their podcast. No, it's bullshit. We can all listen to each other's podcast. People listen to everybody's podcasts. All right. So give me your information, boss, so I can support, bro. Please. Get Shorty on it, man. Get him on it. All right. I love to support you guys over there. Please do. Well, listen, guys, 3 hours is come and gone. What a great, great show. I want to thank my guests, man. Today was awesome. Today was an awesome show, man. Holy sheesh, was that fun. All right. Jason Pat from Cash Considerations talking Bulls with us. I appreciate that. Had him early on. That was awesome. And then our guy, Eric Duerwachter. He was a contributor over at Windy City Gridiron talking Bears football. Great, 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 great stuff. All right. I appreciate those guys for coming on. We'll reach out to them in the future, have them on again soon. Great conversation, great chat in the chat line. Guys, hit that like button. Smash that like button. What's wrong with y'all? Smash the like button. If everyone smashed the like button, just boop, 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 a couple times. Smash it. I'm kidding. But anyway, I also want to thank my guy, Steve Weekly, for keeping everything running smoothly back there. Our executive producer, Elliot Baez, our social media guy, Clarence Council III. I also want to thank my co-host in absentia, Maya Kai. Guys, we hope we entertained you. I appreciate all the people tuning in today. It was a great, 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 great show, man. This was awesome. We'll get some clips up of some other people to get them back out there. Just some clips so we'll put them on social media. I'll make sure you stay tuned. Second City Sports is up next with Sydney Brown and Lakina McGee. They'll continue sports conversation. Okay. The Smoke Fellas tomorrow, they're 11-1. They're actually going to have, you want to tune into them. If you haven't watched the Smoke Fellas, yeah, Smoke Fellas are it. You'll love the conversation there. All right. We're going to take a 69-hour break. On the other side of the break, we'll see you on Monday. Same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. to noon, Central Standard Time. All right. Enjoy the weekend. It's supposed to get warm. I live out south, so I know other people. I'm looking out the window out here. There was some snow this morning when I went to go get my paper. It's gone now. All right. The streets are a little wet, but it's not raining. It's just overcast. So if you're fortunate enough to be out south where it's not snowing, count your blessings. If you're up where my guy Steve is up there where they got snow, just, make sure you shovel and throw salt down. And don't worry, it's all for naught because next Thursday it's going to be 50 degrees again like it was.
It's all melted away.
Okay, good. All right, so for Steve, for Elliot, for Clarence, and for Maya, I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy all the tournaments that are coming out. And on Sunday at 6 o'clock, our guys, the Second City Sports, who's coming on right after me, they're going to have a selection show. So you want to tune into that as well. We'll have Second City selection show on Sunday, 6 p.m. Sports Zone Chicago. All right, folks, have a great weekend. I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. Rest in peace, my man, B.I.G. Biggie. All right, we out.